We can start then. So does anyone want to give a run-in of
I nominate Zelmarro.
what happened?
Sure.
Oh no.
So the short version is we fucked up and we got basically nothing to show for it.
Hey, we got a zombie mark.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that's.
But
much
is it our zombie mark or is it their zombie mark?
It's a significantly less valuable zombie mark than would otherwise be necessarily the case.
So we
Because if
investigated.
it's our zombie mark, then yes, we have something to show for it. If it's their zombie mark, not so much.
I'm not. I think you overestimate the value, a given value of zombie, especially when we're not in control of it.
His intelligence has dropped to match his charisma. What are the yellow dots on two of the characters?
Two of the characters.
They were for health.
Okay.
So, if you recall, Brian mentioned something that we do in the other game that the two of us play. Where
Yes, sorry.
How do I undo? Whoops. I did not have the right thing selected. I just drew a line on the map.
That's okay. Control-C might take it off. Where'd you draw the line?
Okay, so if we want a more detailed thing, basically we cleaned. We had a look at the
hole.
Yeah, pretty much. We cleared. Oh, I was going to say we cleared the manor. We found that there was an obelisk here where Taos is pinging, and is now added, and that was somehow moved probably by the Goliaths into said lake. Or body of water, and then
while we were there, or like in the past sometime.
Definitely in the past.
Okay,
but in the recent past.
Yeah, obviously must have been spoiling their view. So, we also noticed this cave opening, and indeed it was. So we wandered in. We found some sort of servitor, which seemed to be some sort of somewhat non-violent, surprisingly non-violent type of undead. And we decided to kill him anyway and wander in, and
that's the appropriate response. That's good.
He was chokingly poisonous. He sort of got in our way, which was when we decided to kill him. He did animate in it.
He was a pretty rubbish bouncer, to be honest.
Everybody's dancing around the fact he looked different, and we feared him, so we killed him.
Did everyone see that image on the screen?
Yep.
Unfortunately, yes. I did.
It had that same kind of impact on Den.
That's what I just said.
We simply didn't
horrible.
And we simply didn't have that much skincare products on us.
Then we went down into the cave because there was an opening at the back, and it was confusing. And it got us to a new room.
Really?
We were confused.
I know what you're talking about.
It was and when we say down, it may not. There may be some.
Who knows which direction?
Plane shifted somewhere where the gods had no power.
Yeah.
Well, and we came to this lava chamber, and there were a bunch of defiled obelisks, I guess, that were now with red runes. And there were some sticking out around the place that are more than just the 4 that are shown. So I sort of drew one on the side. I'll draw some more ones.
Maybe our obelisks are just sanctified.
So there were like other ones
up at,
out from the walls, up
in the ceiling, etc.
Yep.
More like spurs, I guess, than real obelisks. But they were covered in runes, yes.
And there are a bunch of other bouncers in here, like 6 of them. And the shifty dude, that guy, he was
shifty dude in charge.
Yep, and then there was also the warlock.
Sparrow.
He was cut my own throat dippler.
It was a body that the warlock resided in.
He had a deal for us.
I'll do that.
He's a 10-dimensional creature. This is all. We tried. But unfortunately, nobody had a cousin that they'd been pimping out to the king.
He wanted Nogrim to help him.
To the queen, rather.
Nogrim was hesitant to get into the circle which was probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
Sounds like a good idea.
I got into the circle and it was fine.
And then I decided that since these guys were just sort of standing around and not really animated, maybe we could push them into the lava. So I pushed one into the lava, at which stage I got magic missiled and died. Oh.
By the Scottish doll.
By doll, and then I cleaned his chronometer.
Exactly. Then some people killed some people.
Killed some Zeds. I mean,
Kruber-
servitors.
Kruber tried to save me, but I was past saving. The Dibbler said that he had a deal that he could make to bring me back.
Well, actually, it wasn't so much that he said he could bring you back. Someone in the group
That would be me.
asked him to bring you back.
Indeed.
And
That's
he said, sure.
Yeah, he had a deal.
I hope you have some
Get
cool
in the circle.
superpowers now.
Yeah, yeah.
Head to
An intelligence that matches his charisma, a lack of free will, and a desire for brains.
As long as he's got superpowers.
Well,
Just you lazy.
if you call undead attributes superpowers, sure.
Immune to poison. Although you may have already.
I don't know if they are immune to poison in this.
Anyway, yeah. So he asked Den to get into, or sorry, he asked Kruber to get into the circle, which Kruber did. We didn't kill two. We stopped the slaughter at 2 of the servitors left. Actually, I think there were 3 at this stage, but then
There were.
decided to kill another one. I'm not exactly sure why, but because it was there. Anyway, so he got in the circle. He stood on the wrong rune. The guy put him onto the correct rune. And
Well,
then
you being someone else at the time, who were you controlling at the time?
I was controlling a Lenser.
Lenser.
Yeah,
Oh,
Since
Although it was me who got onto
yeah,
the
it was.
Yes.
Sorry, it was Kruber who got in the rune. Yeah.
That's right. Because Mark was, at this point in time,
Yeah.
deceased.
And he drained the life out of Kruber, or something similar. Who knows? His mojo. And he got really sickly, and it seemed to funnel into the servitors. So something was going on there. And then after Kruber was, 60% water and 40% weakness, he walked over to the deceased Mark and reanimated him. At which stage, dead Mark attacked Nodgrim. Nodgrim ran around and decided this wasn't cool and proceeded to kill the servitor and then kill Dibbler.
Which is the warlock.
Yeah.
the body.
It happens.
The body.
Indeed.
So that was the
And-
High Sparrow's picture.
Yep.
Him?
The High Sparrow was like, this isn't even my final. Peace out.
That
Yep.
is what he said.
I don't think it was that blatant a rip.
Well,
it was close.
it was strongly suggested that he was basically borrowed slash invaded slash possessed the body, and it wasn't really his, and it was just a shell. Especially considering we found a signet ring on it, and dangerously going by the picture, it didn't look particularly dwarven. And I'm not sure we've actually examined the signet ring to see if it was the one we were actually looking for.
I
But
don't think we did.
Who's the
Mostly we're trying to stop.
yes, and other things we forgot to do was make a note of the runes, make a note of the dead guy, have a look at the see if there's anything else of interest in the room. But we did.
To be fair, we were trying to restrain Mark from giving us all hickeys.
Can I ask a question? Who is the High Sparrow, Craig?
The warlock.
Why do you call him the High Sparrow?
Oh, it's
'Cause that's
a
Game
Song
of
of Ice
Thrones.
and Fire
Game of Thrones
reference.
Oh, yeah.
He looks
I would
like
say
the
it's a
High
Song
Sparrow
of
from
Ice
Game
and
of Thrones.
Fire reference, but he doesn't look that much like Jonathan Pryce if you go in Game of Thrones. But I see where you come from.
Don't watch
The
it, don't read it.
idea of the High Sparrow, not so much Jonathan Pryce, but
Yeah.
Yeah, just call him Cadaver Cuckoo.
So when Nodgrim cut the warlock down, he said
He
a few
became more
things.
powerful than we could possibly imagine.
Well, he said a few things. One of which he said that Nodgrim and Wolfeet, you have made a terrible decision, basically.
Oh yeah, that's right. He knows our names.
And then he said, and then someone made some other comment, can't remember what it was, and that's when he said, "This wasn't my body anyway." And you all retreated with Mark.
We made a tactical withdrawal.
With a tied up zombie Mark.
And Caradron on the way out grabbed the blade that Dol had been carrying, which went skittering across the floor. So you have that as a handout now, Craig.
Ooh.
If you see under, let me have a look actually. If you wish to show everybody, I can.
It's mine. It's all mine. It's my precious.
It's gonna
Oh, come on, you need at least 3 more pieces to complete the whole cultist outfit.
Are you going to show it? Are you going to show everybody?
Yeah, show everyone.
That's cool. Then I'll make it. And everybody item. It's in group handouts. Under items, mysterious dagger. Can you see it? Did I put it in the wrong player's journal? I meant to put it there. Everyone should see it now.
Yep. Ah, so it's Klingon. With a hint of dark elf.
Runes that are filled with a dark substance.
Oh, it's something to work on anyway.
So just out of interest, why did we go down this cave?
Because the when we were looking at the obelisk, the one of the servitors walked out and looked at us, so we decided to follow it into the cave.
Right. Okay. Cool.
And then when we
didn't
in there,
randomly decide, hey, let's start exploring caves. There was like movement.
Though
Also,
we're going to,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but
curiosity
the
killed
cave
Mark.
has been renamed.
Oh, I would say curiosity killed the unprepared adventurers.
No, the rest of us survived.
More prepared than normal.
Except for the whole, hey, let's not heal up before we wander in.
Yeah.
Well,
Also,
you did heal up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Have I ever seen a dagger like that before, Julian? Of that style?
No, but as the sole remaining member of the group who can, who has the language of the divine language gifted of the gods, you recognise that the runes appear to be corrupted sigils from that language.
Okay, no worries.
So, yeah, there's that.
Was that the necromancers or Dol's?
Dol was carrying
Dol.
it. The other guy had no weapon that you could see. He had no items.
He didn't need one.
So let's have a look at the signet ring. I suppose Nogram is probably the best person to examine it, considering he could probably. It's easy for him to tell if it, if it has a dwarven seal upon it.
I thought you had detect loot as an ability.
You've got an etching or a picture of what the signet ring was supposed to look like, and this one matches it, but very worn. Dol was wearing it.
Dol was.
Kind of worn.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of worn?
Just worn. It was worn as though it has, just been rubbed, marked, scuffed, etc.
Does it look like it's aged more than we would have expected it to?
It's hard to tell. You don't know where it's been, what it's been doing, but it looks like it's aged considerably. But again, you don't know how old it was when it came down here. You just got a picture of the image that would have been on it, not a photograph of its last known.
So it does look like the one we're looking for.
It does.
Okay.
Did the warlock move with a limp at all? That we noticed?
Dol? No, he didn't seem to move with a limp. You have a zombie mark in the group. It's at this time, as you are...
group treasure?
No, he's not in group treasure, but he's here, controlled by me. That's actually one of the funny things that was happening as well. Nordgrim was trying to loot and completely forgot that Zombie Mark was trying to eat his brains. And it was
Excellent.
only the fact that Nordgrim was wearing a fine male shirt that saved him considerably. Bending over to look at the bodies and see what he could find, and Zombie Mark's ineptly trying to, bash his brains in. Alright, at this point in time as well, let me just do some stuff.
I'm a little bit sad I haven't been able to blame Craig for the chocolate that I'm eating.
Was there anything else we needed to do out here? Other than the signet ring?
We were trying to find what happened to that dwarf. That was the
adding super Rooney dagger to my inventory, or is that in party inventory?
Sure.
That's yours, yeah.
Because it has no hilt and it only has a crude leather wrap around the tang, it is very awkward to hold as though it were a weapon.
You could throw it.
Can you see what is on the map near the manor house there?
The little person?
The little person.
Yep.
Sure, let's
Seems to be oblivious to you at the moment. Has her back to you.
I think we should feed her to Mark.
Of course.
None of that. None of that.
I'd just say
he needs to eat.
ruins the hours that Julian and Aaron spent last fortnight.
You give us way too much credit.
You said you were up for hours talking to him.
But not much about the character.
Fair.
Love is in the air.
I reckon we should find some shelter somewhere. Maybe rest and talk about what we're going to do about Mark here.
Do you have control of that token, Aaron?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
At this point, you hear a commotion, and you are now fully cognizant of a group emerging from a cave.
Oh. They look a bit rough. There's a few of them.
And you retreat into the darkness, never to be seen again.
Covered in blood.
I mean, no, I was told to meet people out here, so I'm going to, take some cover behind this tree and call out to them. Hello.
Ooh, I think, given that Mark died, we should honor his sacrifice by doing what he did last time we met some strange creature in the woods here.
And what was that?
Fire an arrow at it. It's what Mark would have wanted.
The figure appears to look like a...
So she is decently tall. She's wearing a helmet. She has a large shield strapped to her back. She's carrying a bow. She's got a warhammer on her side. And she's got some looking armor, but it looks like she's some kind of rough fighter. She's pretty tough looking, I guess. And she's got a quiver, and she's got a spellbook strapped to her side, a backpack, and there's some kind of motion happening sort of on her opposite hip to the warhammer. Like there's something moving there that's not her.
Well, doesn't look weird at all.
Indeed, it does look a little bit weird. That's why I pointed it out, because it's weird. And she's got long, straight black hair, and you can't really see her eyes from there. So
I've just changed what she looks like in your mind. I'm sorry, Aaron.
Yeah. I mean, you can see like some hair sticking out from under her helm.
Does she have very large hands?
Yes, she has very large hands. I don't know. They're probably abnormally large for their hands.
I'll pull out my axe just in case. Have it at my...
She seems quite friendly. She has called out to you.
I will advance to here and say,
I mean, to be fair, so did the ogres.
greetings.
They didn't. Have
What can we help you
voice.
with?
I was looking for some people. Maybe you have knowledge or
Knowledge is one of the many things we do not have.
As evident.
Who do you seek?
None of you. I'm looking for people who are knowledgeable in the arcane, or
There's no one here
Do
who
you
counts
want
as knowledgeable.
to do with that person?
Mark, stop wandering off, Mark.
is he on a side road?
Bad zombie puppy. Bad zombie puppy.
Okay. So
Are you guys worried he's going to fail his dodge roll because he's at
He was-
needing a 6+?
Let me meander around here, get a closer look at the one who's.
Ah, double skulls.
Do you have any briding we could use as a leash or something?
I have a rope.
I actually
So
believe
out of-
that you
out of-
did
out of
tie
interest,
him
why
up
are we-
last time.
Why are we keeping Zombie Mark?
On the very off
his
chance that
body's
he's
worth
still
money.
worth money to the alchemist.
Because
don't-
friendship.
Yeah.
I was thinking we might
Because
be
friendship
able to
is magic.
I could not find that GIF last session. Yeah,
Oh.
I
Google
spent a while looking
zombie
for it.
Ed GIF.
Yeah, well,
Ta-da!
I probably shouldn't have stuck to Giphy.
Literally the first GIF that comes up.
I has a sad.
Gotta love Blood Bowl to the...
So yes, Minerva, it looks like they have a zombie with them.
Yeah, I'm gonna move away from that thing. Why have you got a zombie?
Mistakes
I-
were made.
It's a long story.
I have nothing against undead servitors.
Think of
but-
him not as a zombie, but as a
Friend in
financial
disguise.
investment that may have gone wrong.
Oh, he's a bounty. Yeah, I sometimes
Yeah.
do bounties.
Yeah, I think the bounty is probably the best way to think
You do
about it.
cherry ripes?
Yeah, I love cherry rips. They are the best of the candy bars.
They used to be my favorite, but now I like boosts more.
Turkish
Okay,
delight.
this is getting a little
Boosts
bit
are solid.
Okay, well, I'm not ready.
I will mention that we do have that. There is someone who has some knowledge of the arcane in our party.
Yeah, and the reason is that I have like some I don't know, some kind of magical ailment, maybe a curse. I'm not really sure. It is beyond my ken.
Ah, well, what does it do to you?
I don't know.
Ah, when did you
that
get
is
this
fascinating.
curse? Did your parents tell you
Uh,
about it when you were a naughty child?
No,
Wow.
I woke up a few months ago
What could I say?
in what I believe used to be my camp, but I'm not sure because I can't remember anything from before 2 months ago. Some kind of horrible magical explosion had happened. My familiar told me that I had been experimenting. Unfortunately, I can't remember anything, and there seems to be no way to get my memories.
So you can't remember anything, but you feel familiar?
Sorry?
You can't remember anything, but you feel familiar with somebody?
We have a mental connection with each other, and
You and who?
The familiar.
my familiar,
Her.
Who's your familiar?
Eki. And
So how do you know for sure you're cursed?
not up for business at the moment.
You took me to a Malazan thing. Now I'm just sad. So what? How do you plan to get uncursed? What arcane knowledge are you seeking?
Well, just any sort of knowledge, really. I'm just trying to get people to share magical knowledge with me. I'm looking for. I'm trying to travel around stone circles, obelisks. I ran into a powerful.
Do you lick them?
No. Why would you lick an obelisk? What? Do you guys lick? Wait. So is there a property of obelisks that is gained by the licking of them? Is that what
Yes.
you're-
Not that we can tell.
There
That
is.
is the assumption.
There is.
What?
You could see, and I point at Mark. That's what licking obelisks
In
get.
her travels, Minerva has heard the legend of the orc that licked the obelisk in
This
Summerton.
is the orc that licked the obelisk.
Well, what's left of him.
Yeah.
Oh,
His current condition is a coincidence rather than a cause.
I'm not sure about that.
I see. Uh-huh.
And Minerva is a half-elf to those who are interested.
Indeed, she is a half-elf. So, do you know some of the arcane?
I have a knowledge.
Ah. Maybe we could share some of our understandings with each other.
How did you even get here?
I ran into a powerful soothsayer fortune teller, Stella, and she sent me this way. She had the powerful magics. It's quite a tale. Better around food and a campfire.
Are you
Food and a campfire would be good right
wilderness
now.
specialist? I mean, this place is quite tricky to get to. I mean, there are no street signs or other things that real civilized places will have.
Street signs.
Well, she gave me very good directions, and I have eyes and feet.
Well, that's
Also, Eki is good at guiding.
Interesting.
good. I'm cool that someone's good.
I make a party vote. We make the familiar our new party.
Maybe the familiar's ranger levels.
I'm just saying the familiar's unlikely to make worse decisions than we do.
What sort of creature is the familiar again?
I was trying to get her to pull it out.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it is hidden on her personage somewhere.
Is it sexy brat?
It is not that well.
Sexy snake.
Maybe.
Well,
I'm pretty sure I posted a picture in our group discussion at some stage. But anyway,
okay.
No one would have paid attention to that.
that's
Yeah,
true.
I was going to say
It was foreshadowing. It was a long time ago.
the only thing I remember in that is the forbidden tutor.
From memory, it said Eki is coming.
Yeah, I think that's it, and just a picture. So, take that as what you will. Thought it was such a long time ago.
Oh, I have to scroll through memes and things to find it.
I posted a few pictures.
Indeed.
Enki is coming. Yes, that's a long time ago. 23rd of the 12th. So happened a bit ago. I'll grab that picture. Can I grab that picture? And then I can post it in here.
How big's Kirkle Ridge? Would it be likely to have a mage in it of some sort?
Kirkle Ridge is just a series of hills. Oops.
Oh, okay.
If I take you over
So that's a
to
no.
the Valley of the Obelisks, you can see from there, it, taking the river out of the equation, is probably about 25 or 24 miles wide by about 20 miles deep.
But there's only one manor house in Kirkle Ridge, just like
The manor house is this ruin, yes.
Yeah.
It is known as
That's
the...
where we are.
Yep.
So, should we start up a fire?
Probably.
Get to know
Yes,
each other?
I lost a good friend today, and that has made me hungry.
As did we all.
A good meal can help with the disquieting of one's
Did
soul.
we? Did we?
Yeah,
Okay.
more of an acquaintance, but
I'd hung out with him a lot.
It's
I
quite
will
personal
not miss
for
his smell.
a half orc.
He was
Well,
somebody
of course
that
you
you
won't.
used to
He's
know.
still tied to you, and the smell's only getting worse.
So, do we want to take Mark back for the money, or just, for laughs, do we want to tie some heavy weights to his shoes and drop him in the water with the obelisk to just stay there underwater forever?
Why
I miss that
would
guy.
we-
I think we've polluted enough waterways already without trying actively to do so.
But we can't just let him go and let him wander the countryside.
I mean,
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely not. I say we restrain him, just not in the water.
Let's just
I
put him in
think,
the
I think,
pit
I think you,
overnight.
you made the choice about that when you didn't just instantly brain him the second he turned into a zombie. Like, the fact that you kept him alive this far, we might as well just keep taking him back to the town.
Well,
Pretty
we,
much.
we could take him back to one of the giant bodies, cut his head off, and perch it on top of one of their bodies as a lark.
Oh, could we just put him in the pit overnight and then get him out in the morning?
I don't
It's not
think.
really a pit as so much as a bit of a depression.
It's like
It's
a
not
typical
very-
hole,
It was
though.
about 10
Mobility
feet deep.
pit.
It was about 10 feet deep at its...
Yeah.
You can climb
alright.
out of it. We could
Deepest
watch
point.
him for a while, see if he can climb out.
Yep. Provided I get to be the one to say this is Sparta when I kick him.
Seems reasonable. I don't know what the Sparta thing is. You could,
That you to
Oh,
which you refer.
Did you not play Sparta where you guys grew up?
A
It's
classic-
this game.
No,
You
no,
take turns
I've never heard of
kicking
it.
each other down inclines, shouting, "This is Sparta." No idea where it comes from.
bloody humans.
Sounds like a crazy game to me.
I have no idea where many things come from, so sounds no stranger than many other things to me.
What's your charisma?
She's fairly pleasant, it seems. I have been playing her fairly pleasantly. Make up your own mind.
Saying that, you were playing Mark fairly pleasantly as well, but that's just Mark's...
Yeah.
Well, sometimes
That was
he
Mark's-
ranted and stuff.
That's true, but that was, I guess, Mark's... You were playing him as Mark saw himself.
Not as society perceived.
Not as society perceived him. You were
He
there
tried- he
talking
tried to hide
eloquently.
himself.
You were talking eloquently, and people were seeing some slavering monster.
Shall we chuck Mark in the pit and get our fire going?
That sounds like a good idea. Then
Probably
we don't have to worry about
in
him.
the ruins, I guess, or near the ruins, around the ruins.
Yep. Not too close to the Gavin drawing scent of these. So, what is your name?
I named
Amnesia
myself
chick?
Minerva. I don't know what my true name is.
Ah. Do you get moments where you can almost feel Minerva like you've got some understanding of who you were, but then all of a sudden it's Gonagle?
No, I don't know what that means.
My dear, he.
Oh wait, I should have used the.
God,
what?
you're so
If?
terrible. That was just. Oh, I'm actually annoyed. Like, you actually annoyed me with that. Good job.
I'm having a wonderful session.
If you got XP, if you got XP for annoying and baiting other characters and players, you'd be close to level 20
I'd
by
be
now.
the co-DM. I would be some kind of DM demiurge. Because I'm malevolent.
Jeez. Okay, cool. So, campfire. Let's do that.
Sure.
Let's
Okay.
say, and can Mark climb up?
Yeah. There he is. He's in the box.
Yeah, I'll put him in there. Since everyone's just leaving him by himself to, wreak havoc across the
So
countryside.
can we?
What's in the box?
Can we
And
just make a banked fire over here, up against like this
Sure.
wall? I guess.
you can do that.
Great. And then I'll tell you my tale.
So is that? Oh yeah, that girl's coming. Oh yeah, cool. Well, we didn't really invite her or anything like that. I was just making sure.
I mean,
Well,
she did
to
it herself.
be fair, the last person we let join us, they were naked when they joined. So
That would be
her
me.
turning up clothed is obviously suggesting she's higher quality than we're normally used to picking up. Sorry, Nodgrim.
It was not my fault.
Is that red thing where you're putting the fire?
Yeah.
That's where
I
I'd like to
mean,
put the fire. Is that okay? It's
sh-
just
what-
banked
what-
up against
Why
the
is it
wall.
up against the wall?
Sorry?
Why is it up against the wall?
Because then you can bank it.
Shielded from the wind.
Is it
And you
because
can
of
only
that
see it
demon?
from. It's
Yeah.
easier to
Yeah.
shield it from one.
Yeah, it's a banked fire. Banked fires are way easier to control.
I mean, we could just put it in the pit with Mark.
Yep. Could do that.
Oh, it will.
I didn't hear that.
It wasn't relevant.
So,
Okay, anyway.
Caradron is
Fire.
still off in the...
Yeah, no, I'm moving now.
so you have taken your long-standing comrade at arms and good friend who, for some of you have known for months, and you have tossed him into a pit and then, flicked pebbles at him?
Kicking him off the edge onto him.
Of course not.
No.
I'm getting flashbacks of people that tossed me into a pit and left me there with a zombie and threw pebbles at me. Julian,
In my defense, you weren't a long-standing ally and friend. I hated you.
Excellent.
What kind of a roll would I need to get to catch a squirrel to throw? Yeah, no, scratch that. Zombie squirrel seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, can
Seems like a
we...
terrible idea.
But look, the important thing is, can he get out of the depression or the pit?
It does not seem that
He
he can.
can get out of the depression, but it's seasonal, so not for another couple of months.
No, it
Let's
does not look
just-
so.
Let's just, I guess, camp out.
Okay, so as we can
fabulous, darling.
Sure.
So while I was chasing a horse thief, you may have heard of him, Ed Jackson. He's kind of famous. But anyway,
I'm
whatever.
sorry, Miss Jackson.
I was
heard of
chasing him around the Squatter, and that's where I saw this Vardo, and it was so strange. It had two skeletons on the top of it, all dressed up. One with like a top hat, one with a monocle. One was playing an accordion, the other a violin. Some kind of deep, music. It was a really gaudy caravan. Had a little chimney stack. Smoke was coming out of it. And as I approached it, because I was hoping for answers, and you find answers in strange places, the bearded curtain on it was swept aside by a horrific hag.
Bearded or beaded?
Beaded.
Because I thought you said bearded.
He did, and we have recorded proof.
I'm just wondering why they slaughtered some dwarves.
I could have been. It could have been.
Taken their beards to make this curtain.
I'm just going to be AFK for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to put the kids to bed.
To a bearded curtain.
It's bearded now.
It's bearded now. And as she swished it aside, it was a hag. And she introduced herself as Stella. And beckoned me forth. And since I didn't think I could outrun her, I approached. And she asked me a few questions, and I gave her a few answers. And there was some trading that happened, and it's a bit of a long story. But in the end, I gave her an eye, a half-plucked chicken, and a feathered headdress. And she gave me this location where I could meet my destiny. And that's what's led me to you.
What?
Why did you have an eye? Was it just like a human eye?
I guess it wasn't yours.
It was actually her eye, but she let me mend it for her.
For those of you who did not or do not recall, in the of the World doc, under the giants, hags are mentioned. They are the spawn of ogres and elves.
Mm.
Hideous
I'm going to
and vile
move next to
creatures.
Minerva at this point and go.
That wouldn't be very fun for the elf.
Well,
Well-
you have met your destiny tonight, then.
Ew.
As far
Remembering
as
that,
you're aware, were there any live things around here?
remembering that ogres in this setting are known as shape changers, and are highly magical, deceitful creatures. In their native form, they can get to about 8 feet tall, fat, bloated, covered in warts, etc. But they are highly magical and natural shape changers, and they can be anywhere. And they
They're
eat people.
kitsune, but they can beat the crap out of.
Yeah,
Fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're more like the traditional. The one I run in this is they're more like the traditional European ogre.
Yeah.
B5 farm.
The Erda. Anyway.
What's Minerva's reaction?
She's like, oh yeah. So, do you have a cure for me, or you have magical knowledge? I don't see a spell book.
If you come with us, though, I am pretty sure you will find your destiny. Why?
I mean, our actual magic usage just went AFK, so...
We know of a place that is a source of great arcane power.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. There is this abbey that we have gone past a couple of times, and there is definite arcane power there.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Like just I saw before.
You've been there with the snot group.
Yeah, he's talking about the keep with the
Oh, the keep. Yeah.
Yeah.
the spirit of Lakima keep.
Lacrima.
Lacrima. Whatever. Le Creamer. Anyway. So tell me about yourselves.
That one.
Oh. She's easy on the eyes. That's why I'm away.
Not as easy as you are.
For something not living.
That sounds like a terrible pickup line.
I'm grieving the loss of a Wilkes-safe friend.
And indeed, I would
I'm
not want to
processing
take
it.
advantage of a poor person grieving the loss of a friend.
Thank you. That's why I just want you to hold me tonight.
Surely he has a close friend whom you could hug.
I mean, you could always join Mark in the pit if you wanted.
I'm not going to lie, I am considering wandering over to relieve myself.
Oh.
Wow, really?
No.
Funny humans.
Funny humans. People are strange.
Humans are strange.
I agree. A little bit. I mean, I don't really know anybody or anything, but
Yeah, fair.
I find most people seem to be fairly strange.
That's true.
Anyway,
Well, in terms of this party, anyway, we've been traveling again, as I think someone said, for a few months now. Kind of just wandering around this area, which is kind of like at the end or the edge of the empire. It's been.
We're on the outer rim.
Yes, that's
Yes.
where.
Yes, it's the edge of these more civilized areas of the lands, and right on the edge of the wilds, which are pretty much no-go zones, unless you want to go there, in which case you probably won't come back, because not many people do.
that's the propaganda anyway. Have you ever been there?
What, to District 13?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Hey,
Why is she back again?
You're sorry you're
Only
back?
the human lands are civilized.
Oh, why is she back again?
She?
Oh, you just saw the spirit of Lacrima Keep, because it just came up in conversation, so...
Pop.
What are you
Okay.
eating, Craig?
That's
Well,
Actually,
I don't know what you're
Loud
talking
and
about.
crunchy.
he just brought some foil with him and is just playing with it.
Foil?
He's not actually eating anything.
It sounds like the plastic packaging for a packet of Tim Tams or something. He's scrunching it up.
Oh yeah.
No, Tim Tams
Frank-
is still in the cupboard. This is just chocolate.
See, you guys say
It was
that,
our foil.
but when we get to
Yay.
the final performance, where he wraps the headset in foil and then puts it in a microwave, you're gonna be brutal.
So you were saying that he's a performance artist.
Very definitely.
It makes sense then.
God.
Hey, you don't have to like it, but it's art.
You know, on that
So you guys-
headset, Craig, if you follow the cable from the headset down to where it connects to your PC, you'll notice that there is a little toggle,
Yeah.
and there is a mute button on that.
Mm.
When you are wrapping and unwrapping chocolate to eat it, you can always press that mute button. That's all I'm saying. It's just I'm just
Feel
putting it out
like
there.
you're missing the point.
So you lost a friend. That is terrible. Did you
Well,
discover great?
He's about 10 feet away.
lost. He transformed.
Did
He's
did
not
you,
who he used to be.
Did you discover great riches or knowledge, or did you save some innocent people? Did you do a great deed? Did you know?
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
Tell me the valiant tale.
We murdered a necromancer.
Oh well.
Well,
So you've stopped a great evil.
Well, we might have thrown
I didn't hear that.
You
a
broke up.
shoe in the works, as you say.
you went super laggy for a moment there, Al.
Okay. So you killed somebody.
The right term, because spanner in the works is a bit anachronistic.
So will you be getting a
There's
bounty
still
for
spanners
the
around.
slaying of this,
Ah, you mean donkey in the mill?
Mm.
Yes.
But you would have a donkey in a mill.
Depends which part of the mill you're talking about.
Yeah, that saying would make no sense. But
Also, I like how Zell's bringing up anachronisms, even though not less than 10 minutes, or not more than 10 minutes ago, you were talking about bounties and cherry ripes and Turkish delights.
indeed,
Yep.
indeed.
Yep.
So
It's called partial immersion.
again, will you guys be getting a bounty for this terrible necromancer that you slew?
Unlikely, since I don't believe anyone was aware of them.
Which is
So
why
why
we're
would
hoping
Al-
we can recoup from Mark's loss.
Were you
We were
drawn
trying to
here
help.
by a arcane circle?
We were trying to help a father longing for his lost son. A heartrending tale that Nodgrim, only you are fit to speak of.
Ah, yes, the armor in Kirkle Ridge has lost his son down here in the ruins. Braith, his
Weaponsmith.
name is.
Which
Weaponsmith.
armor? There are the weaponsmith in Kirkle Ridge. I think there's only in Summerton. There's only one of those, is there?
One of repute.
The one of the greatest repute. Oh, okay. I think he was unfriendly. I can't really remember him. But
He
I've
wasn't
heard
the
something
nicest
similar.
guy, but his son's lost here in the ruins, and we think we found his signet ring, but not the boy.
Oh, you found his signet ring.
We found one.
One of his signet rings? He had more than one?
I make
That's a strange
eye
thing to
contact
do.
with Minerva and let her know that if I lost a son, it would affect me greatly too.
Right.
Oh, God.
Gives her the "how you doing" look.
Yeah. Minerva protects her food.
I'm not a monster. Take her food.
You don't take off somebody else's plate.
No, that would just be wrong.
That was fun. Might be the most fun thing I've ever done.
Cool. Okay. Well, good, I guess.
Cool. Well,
The half-orc, or what remains of him in yon pit, had been sought after by by an alchemist in some as he was a friend of ours, we obviously would never have countenanced selling him. But now that
Never.
Oh,
he
is that
has
what he wanted?
passed,
Is this
now
some
that he
kind
has
of scientific
passed-
research?
now that he has passed, we know that he who gave so generously of himself and his daily spell allotment would have longed to help others.
Wait,
And we want to help him fulfill that.
We should at least see if it can be helped first.
he was a powerful mage? Maybe he was the one that I needed to speak to.
Not so much a mage as a cleric, and not so much powerful
Oh,
as good at healing small cuts
Okay.
or scrapes.
prayers.
He was adequate at his job.
wishes,
Was he?
was
He's dead.
I didn't understand.
His power similar to mine, as far as I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had no cause to question his aptitude.
Oh, I had many calls to question it, and I did, but I miss him.
Well, not so much his aptitude for healing, maybe his aptitude in other areas.
True.
Who was getting boned by Mark at night?
I'm terribly sorry if I pace you. That your secret is out.
Adequately boned by Mark at night.
Feel free to grab an extra 20 XP for that, Brian. It's worth a laugh.
Taken.
So where do you guys plan on going from here?
Probably back to Summerton. I'm probably pretty much
We
the
will
main
see
city
if-
around here.
If the alchemist is still willing to pay some for Mark, which we can then redistribute to those who he would have wanted to have helped most.
That sounds like an awfully roundabout way of saying you're going to get all the money.
Do you guys get a bit too? Like, ice cream's for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well,
The ice creams are a great way of remembering Mark.
Oh, this is the signet ring. Does that look like what the?
They lead to your head hurting, and they are very transitory, much like Mark was.
yes, well. Yes, we were essentially down out here originally looking for a missing dwarf, but instead we only did find the signet ring, so we believe he is lost, unfortunately. Unless you guys saw anything else last week or 2 fortnight ago that we said anything otherwise.
Nope.
Didn't appear so.
So we will need to return to, I guess, the main town, Summerton, the main town north of here, and relay that. If you wish to accompany us, you're welcome to, since that's probably the best place you will get help, or at least assistance with your predicament.
Oh well, I've been there before. They were no help. I've spoken to the Scrivener's Guild. They've
I was going to query you on that.
look. I'm new to the proper forming of words. Okay, I've not got a good grasp on my mind.
Well, you doing
Maybe you don't
great
understand
job.
the things that I've been saying, because I don't always understand the things that you say. So
Very few do understand the amazing things I say.
Oh my god, it was actually
yeah, I can believe it. So
Aww.
That's a shame.
So, early to bed, early to rise. I have heard some people say that sort of thing, but I'm not exactly sure what it means.
It just means It just means people who go to bed
That is not...
earlier in the evenings. I mean, I hear that happens occasionally.
Which
I'm just your like you carry a familiar, but you feel currently more the martial natural intent or the more
You're
the
breaking up
arcane?
really
Al
badly.
is
Yeah,
about
you
to
are.
release a hip hop album.
I haven't heard that
Yeah,
much
try-
auto-tune since I last heard Ketchup.
Try unplugging your headphones and plugging them in again, man.
Yeah, it'd be
Really
funny.
break
Okay,
up.
let's try that again.
Okay.
So, what? Since you remember a little
No.
previous life, do you?
God,
What's going on?
amazing.
After a few seconds, you
I'm getting-
overwhelm your net connection, and
Okay,
Maybe-
I'm just gonna go disconnect and try to connect.
Okay.
Consciousness is screaming away.
Okay, let's see how that goes.
Oh.
It sounds like you had a stroke or something.
It sounded like he
Yeah.
had a stroke, but was also a transformer.
Yeah.
It seems to get about
He would
5 words
take
in
that. He would
and then
take
goes
that.
crazy.
Transformer having a stroke, DJing
And now for some reason you sound like you're in another room.
Oh yeah, because I put the mic up above my head because I was eating.
Nice.
Yep, there we go.
I don't believe that for a second.
Craig, eat.
So,
No. He putting the mic away from the food.
Aisha, were you asking me what my skills are? Is that
Indeed, it was. If I'm actually,
Oh.
but
I-
there seems to be.
I have I believe a very strong affinity with magic. However, it is hard for me to grasp at the moment, and otherwise,
Nah, that one was too easy.
I'm pretty good with this bow.
Ah. Do you ever launch arrows that are arcane in nature?
I don't know.
Ah.
I mean, maybe
That will
I-
probably have to wait for a future edition.
Okay. A future edition, like what? Like magical arrows. If you
Indeed.
get some of those, I could launch them.
Or
from my
some
bow.
kind of
Yes, I could-
archer
I
who
could
was
see how that-
arcane.
I could see how that edition would be useful. An arcane. Well, I already am an archer who is arcane, so I do not know what you mean. You
well,
confuse
we're
me.
likely returning to Somerton. You're welcome to camp here tonight and come back with us if you like.
That sounds excellent. Maybe we can do some bounties together. Search out some knowledge.
Assuming we don't all get lost and die out here.
I've been looking for a group of people weird enough to travel with, and you guys have a dead half-orc in a pit, so I think
Yeah.
I think I have come to the right place.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're
Strange.
a bit of a
Wow.
mismatch of.
Who knew Mark just had to die to be desirable?
I think
it's
a lot
pretty
of people knew. They
narcissistic
certainly
of
said
Aaron.
that to him a lot.
Look,
It's certainly narcissistic of Aaron to have his new character so interested in his
I
role.
have an actual serious question.
Yes.
When it currently with Mark, is there like any visible difference that would be more scary than a half orc normally? Like, are we going to we'll come back into Summonton and people are going to be like, oh my god, it's a zombie there, or is it just going to be the regular, oh my god, it's a half orc?
Well,
I mean, like, part of his body blown away, right?
no, the magic missile wasn't like super destructive. It was just caused massive shock, and he's got some marks from it, but yeah, it's not like he got hit by a thermonuclear device. And even
Because
if he did,
you wouldn't let us have one?
this is true. And if he did get hit by a thermonuclear device, it may have actually improved his looks. He does move in a much more jerky type manner, which is, considering the fact he was already a jerk. No, he look. Does he look undead? He doesn't look natural. Let's put it that way. You don't.
Oh, he didn't look natural before.
Yeah, but he looked like a living creature. Now he doesn't so much look or act like a living creature. But could he be passed off? Sure. If you took the means to do so, you could probably obfuscate certain features.
Low hung cloak.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Well, he had a cloak before.
It did obviously, detract from his ruggedly handsome visage. But you know,
Yep.
His patchy, scaly skin.
he was.
Definitely more
I will
ruggedly
Mark
than
the
handsome.
teacher's
In
pet.
that case, I will recommend that before we bring him into the city, we take some precautions because I'm fairly certain that just bringing a zombie probably isn't on the AOK list of the guard.
I mean, if his clothing hasn't been too disturbed, he did already wrap himself up fairly heavily. So
Yeah, no, he's for the most part
Yeah.
he's.
And you know, worst case Muppet, truss him up, bind his mouth, and stick him over the back of a donkey, and you know, say he's got distemper.
he's
You're
gonna,
breaking up again.
Yeah, you're still a bit bad.
he's the one.
But
true-
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, Discord really hates me today.
Ooh.
Maybe
Lucky
just
you.
reboot your computer.
It's very inconsistent.
Yeah, reboot.
Yeah,
while
I
we
might
travel back
actually
to
do
town
that.
house.
Try plugging into a USB 3
Okay.
socket. That helped me.
What if I could? Alright, I'll be back.
And I mean, while it's happening, maybe we should sleep.
Yes. Let's sleep.
oh, I was gonna suggest we loot Hypatia.
But you only have a hurdy-gurdy,
Oh, are you making a lie?
maybe. But how else are you going to win her harp?
Ah!
Jeez.
I'll take first watch. I
It's
can't
like you're
sleep
fiddling
until
on
I'm
their
sure
harp
there's no
string.
more of those necromancers.
No worries. I'm not sure how taking the first one's going to help with that, but whatever.
I'll take second watch then.
Sure.
And I can take third and beyond.
Cool. Well, you need to still sleep 8 hours, remember?
hmm
Or,
Well, isn't it like three bits of a night, or is there more?
well, you need to get a full night's rest. You're not a 5th edition elf to know.
No. I know what I'm saying. Is like, isn't there normal
Sad.
like 3 watch times per se?
Well, you had 6 watches previously.
Oh, is it? Okay, sorry. Is that okay?
That's-
But
that's
that
how
was
you-
with.
Yeah, it's up to how you guys want to do it. But previously you had 6. It was Mark, Shaquan, Hypatia, Nodgrim, Lensa, and Caradwin.
Does Minerva offer to do a watch?
I mean, she would happy to do a watch if she could spend it with the other arcane user, and maybe we could share some knowledge.
We normally do it in 2s, so, or at least partially in 2s. So sure.
Yeah.
Man, that's it. I'm multi-classing.
All right. Regardless,
Let's go to sleep.
you set a watch. You have a fire going. Somewhere off in the distance,
All right.
Whiskey Pete starts drinking
Good times.
because that's right. You weren't here, were you?
No.
For the butcher of the Goliaths,
No.
Caradwin.
Oh,
The
But I
Butcher
didn't
of the
disagree with
Goliaths. Okay.
Right.
Yes, Mark.
Mark is one sick puppy.
Mark decided he was going to try and skin
Was.
the Goliaths.
How'd that go?
Well, Whiskey Pete turned to alcohol.
It's bloody work.
You might notice
skin
he's
and
not
stuff.
with you anymore.
No.
Whiskey Pete. He gave that 1,000-yard blank stare, shuddered a bit, turned around and started twitching and walked off into the darkness.
Yeah. He obviously didn't drain the bodies of blood.
Are we covered if we under insurance if we lose our guide?
He chose to wander off of his own choice.
Yes, it was his own volition. That's why you paid ahead of time anyway. So, night.
We should maybe demand our money back.
Night and rest. And about an hour or so before midnight, you'd start noticing that some very dark clouds are rolling in above. And the wind picks up and it becomes quite chill.
I hate not being in a proper town.
Oh, good.
Welcome back.
I take it we've got minimal shelter here.
I mean, we have broken stone walls.
Not hearing you at all, Al. Seeing your green circle. Oh, there you are.
I'm still a bit patchy.
You're a little bit better than last time.
Did you want a speed test?
Well, I could, but I'm depressed enough as it is.
Fair.
I want to push him over the edge.
Oh, but he's one step closer to the edge and he's about to break. It would have taken too long to find a gif of that.
No, it's annoying trying to find gifts and the moment's passed.
Oh, that doesn't stop me, as you know.
How terrible.
So yes, the weather starts to turn rather inclement as the night wears on. By morning, it has begun to rain. Visibility is reduced considerably, and you notice that there is a bit of mist hanging around in the trees nearby.
How many hit points did we get back overnight?
1, or you get 10% of your maximum round up.
So most likely 1.
So if you have 10 or less hit points, you'll get 1. If you have 11 to 20, you'll get 2.
Ooh, I'm on full.
I didn't take any damage last session.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Cool.
Hypatia did. Mark took a lot.
Funny that.
It left its mark on him, you could say.
But yes, there is a good deal of mist that has risen up from the ground nearby. Whether it's natural or unnatural, it's hard to tell. But the rain is starting to beat down, so you make of it as you will.
I felt the rains in the Obelisk Valley.
And it is quite cool. Off in the distance, you can hear the rolling of thunder very far off in the distance.
Not a great day for it, but off we go, I guess.
Yep.
Do we feel that we're going to get more turned around?
Do you feel that? Possible. You do not have your guide with you. And the instructions that he gave you are, for the most part, neutered considerably. You don't have the visibility with which to navigate out of here successfully.
Okay.
It might be prudent to stay still or set off and see what happens. Who knows? You don't have anyone of who has knowledge. You don't have a compass with you or a lodestone. What do you guys?
My map making ability read into that anyway, or not really?
You didn't really have the time to make much of a map. You probably jotted a few things down as you were going. You would need some visibility to be able to pinpoint those kind of landmarks, if any, that you were putting down onto the paper as you were moving, because you weren't moving slowly. You're moving, at a steady pace.
Cool. I suggest we just hang around, honestly, because I'd prefer not to get lost.
Yeah.
I guess.
That
Can we
seems
see the sun?
to me.
No, it's fully overcast.
Fully overcast, right?
All right, I'll agree to that.
While we wait, there's this other cave that we haven't got into, because the last time we went into a random cave, it went so well for us. We should try the other one.
Maybe this will lead to a...
Well, if nothing else, we won't get wet. We'll just be dead instead.
I mean, the entrance seems to be fine, so let's have a look. At least have a look at it. I'd prefer to sit there rather than just sit outside all day getting wet.
I mean, I also wouldn't mind.
Well, if we're not game to
Words.
Yeah. If we don't want to navigate home in this weather, might as well check it out. Nothing else, we might find somewhere less damp.
Yes.
I'm more concerned about getting lost and never getting to have a hot meal properly ever again. So I'm keen to stay.
You have 5 other, walking turkeys.
Yeah, I know.
I've got a
Why
bunch
do
of
you
rats.
think we let Minerva join?
That's right. Plus, you've got 2 donkeys.
Aw. We eat the party members before we eat the donkeys.
Not eating my donkey.
Who had 2 donkeys?
Mark
Mark.
had one, and Lenz, not Lenza, Carradine carries one. Carradine carries
Carries one.
Carradine
I'm
has
giving
one.
it to piggyback.
Carradine has one to carry her food.
No, it's to
Would
carry
that
my
be the
iron
iron
spikes.
Yeah,
I
your
guess.
food.
I guess Mark's donkey is now the party donkey.
Whoop, whoop, party donkey. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Mark is still carrying all his gear as well.
Dib's not wrestling him for those.
You might just give them up.
Is there any better part of the ruins that we could camp in to stay dry?
There are, there's no roof on any of it, but clearly you've got much better walls up
Yep.
here.
I'm going to suggest we move over there.
Didn't you
Well,
guys
I
go
was-
into some
we
kind of
suggested
cave
move
to
the
kill
cave.
that warlock?
I have traumatic memories of that cave. I don't
So we go into the other one.
An unexplored cave. Seems like a good
Into the one that leads us to the realm of ice with the blue runed pillars.
Are you heading over there?
Oh, you see, now I'm tempted.
Let's do it. Why not? Look again. It's better than staying outside.
Out of the way.
If we're gonna do it, we need to rest
Out of this
first.
armor.
Yeah, that last cave was a bit freaky.
So
we
we
should
may
rest.
also want to use the
We
chat
should-
and Roll20,
Yeah.
depending.
Type it up, buddy. You can do it. I know you're a fast typer.
Pretend you get loot for every word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's...
Yep, I'm happy to go.
Yeah,
Sure.
so am I.
Yep,
All right.
cool.
Let's do it.
Let's move. Are we taking Mark with us?
That's a bad idea.
Let's leave him in the pit.
That's a good idea.
That doesn't seem like a great idea either.
So when we leave the cave and finally isn't there, what are your plans then?
Be sad. We could
Yeah,
we could tie a rope to a tree. It's not like he
Let's-
can undo himself.
Let's just take him. With
He
us.
can bite it.
Let's
Yeah,
just take
you
him
can
with
always
us.
throw Mark at them. Well, I still think we should put heavy shoes and put him in a.
Who's gonna hold
river.
on to him during combat and stuff? Or are you gonna like?
No one. Who cares? Just tie him up. He can't go if he can't do much.
Right. So we're just carrying
Fair.
him around.
If he ties his leg, well, he can walk for now. And then once we get to the cave, we can just tie his legs up and leave him.
just outside. Okay.
Well, inside. No, he doesn't want to get wet.
Okay. Okay.
No,
For
I
those
think he's
of you who are
okay as long as we don't.
Do you know how bad wet
Up
half
and-
orcs
Oh,
are?
I was thinking just wet zombie. It can't
For
be
those
good.
of you who
Yeah.
are interested, Mark hasn't stood idly in the pit. He has been, trying to get towards you guys. He is actively engaged in trying to, kill you. It's
Mhm.
just that
Yep.
he cannot get out of the pit. So, yes.
I really think we should leave him here.
Yeah, he's been stuck in there like the whole night. Unless somebody comes and helps him, he'll probably stay stuck there.
As it's way more fun when I'm the person conspiring
Yeah.
with the
In which
DM
case,
to kill the party.
Yeah, it means the NPC who releases him is just having can't be helped.
Yeah.
But
I want the knife.
Almost understood. Almost understood. Well, I guess let's just take it to a vote then. Do we want to bring him with us or leave him here?
Let's leave him.
Either way, there's a chance we're going to lose him. So probably just bring him with us. Worst case, we can tie him to something and hope that maybe he doesn't get away. But
If something happens, though, then we have to manage him.
Well, not particularly. If something happens, we can just throw them at him and leave.
Yeah. Why don't you all
sick him, Rex.
Why don't you all just put a Y or an N or a yes or a no in the chat? Just type it in so you can count it.
Yes for leaving him and no for taking with us.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay.
Yes for leaving him and no for taking him.
It's Alan. You made a well, I don't really get a vote because I'm a noob, so I think that means you're taking him with you.
Yep.
Sure.
Cool. Sounds good. Let's go.
Because Mark's vote would have been to take him.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
He
yes,
would not want to let that money out of his sight.
Sure.
Oh, I thought the trying to eat us was why, but sure.
But then you'd have to,
I guess you've got.
self-look in the mirror? I don't know.
Anyway,
Okay.
let's head to the cave. Why not?
How are you going to retrieve him now from the pit, which has a very slippery, slimy slope because of the rain?
It's a very slippery slope we're on now.
Nodgrim, if you remember, the newest member of the party is the one who gets the most enviable jobs, aren't they?
Thankfully there's a newer member than myself.
Now that you mention it, you're right.
Yeah, but I don't want the zombie out of the pit, so
Yeah,
I'm
fair.
Democracy.
not doing that.
Democracy.
Fair.
Um,
I don't trust in democracy. I don't even know what that word means.
all right.
Nobody
Good with,
does.
like, a lasso.
So, Kruber,
We could,
do you just want to
throw a lasso down there over him and drag
Yeah.
him?
It's
I'll do
possible,
that.
yes. Sure, alright.
Alright, I'll give you a hand.
It will
Lasso would be dex based rather than
It
strength.
doesn't. You
wouldn't it?
don't need to roll.
Okay.
Because regardless of whether you get it first or 50th time, you will eventually snag him and be able to drag him up. and
Well, I
down.
got it.
Wants to be
First
able to
time.
say first time like
Fine.
Aaron knows me.
Fine. Luckily, you didn't roll a natural 20 because then you would have happened to hook one of the other party members and throw them in.
Aw, can I re-roll? With a 19, do I just
you
steal
want
one?
me to do it? Because
Yourself?
I actually am good at that.
It
He's
does-
already done it.
It doesn't matter. You will get him out eventually.
Yep.
There's no time constraint upon this, and yes.
Let's go.
It's like
But I still did it first time.
Well, no,
this
you-
is
you
actually
didn't.
note on a rope.
You have to get below your dex. Low is good because you're getting under. So you failed because unless you had a dex of 20. So yeah, and look, Mark wants to get out of the pit, so you don't even really need to snag him that well to get him up and out.
Now we just jump on him and tie his hands again.
Sure, and you will have yourself your mascot once more.
Yes.
Ooh, party suggestion. We need to get a Mad Max style cart that we can mount him on the front of, with a grill to stop him biting.
And then we need to
I like
get
this idea.
Bard who like shoots flames. and
Oh,
get
that
them
works
up on
with
the
me.
back of it.
My aim is for everyone to go through multiple characters and new people to be like, what's with the undead half-orc? Is like, we have no idea. It's just tradition.
It is legacy.
How many other adventuring parties have a mascot
Well-
zombie?
There is the other well-known and well-regarded adventuring party, the Brotherhood of the Silver Dagger. You could become the League of the Zombie Orc.
Oh,
I feel like there's a catchy name.
Sure, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Long story short,
Let's move.
you have the zombie in tow.
How about if we called ourselves the Eternal Legion?
Sure. Well, at the moment, only Lenser and Mark are at the cave.
And we could make some awesome music.
That's a good idea. We'll all be undead soon carrying the zombie around.
Oh, look who thinks the idea bites.
Who's behind? Nodgrim.
He's slow. It's okay.
I'm just zooming
He's a
out.
dwarf. He only moves at 20.
Yeah. That is true. Oh, I see
It's
what
funny
you're
because he's short.
It's funny because it's not me.
Read that too.
That is how humor works.
He's
I mean,
just-
Mark was pretty happy with making fun of himself. So
like that gif of the guy swinging on the rope. Still, it's like that's awesome.
It hurts every time.
Yeah, I know. Every time I see him fall, it's like, oh my
such a train wreck.
Yep.
But
That's why I gave us a happy gif instead.
but it is a funny train wreck.
Anyway,
If you're gonna have a train wreck, make it funny.
I'll enter the cave first. What do I see?
So this cave, the opening that you can see here, it's mostly open to the sky. It narrows considerably towards the back, and chocolate again.
You guys have now reached 20th. You have fought your way through the Valley of Obelisks, and you now come to your final challenge, the Chocolate Golem.
The cave, when it narrows, it does actually get more of a roof. It's more substantial roof, but it is quite low. The ceiling.
So
is quite low.
from here, like there.
No, back up towards here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, there's no roof on it until then.
No, for the most part, it is open to the sky.
Oh, okay.
You are getting a low roof towards the back. It's probably about 5.5 feet tall, high at its tallest.
Okay,
Still
could
a bit
I?
of cover.
It goes into darkness.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Does anybody have any light?
I cast Magic Missile on the dark.
I have a lantern.
It is raining considerably where you, which is coming through here as well. So, getting under the.
Do we want
cover,
to
going to
time Mark up over here?
Oh, this is one of the.
Probably leave him in the corner. I was going to say leave him here.
Oh, well, I was thinking under a tree. You know, nice.
Time
Tied
to
to a
tree.
tree.
Time to this tree.
At least if we tie him to the tree, like he can sound and bark.
Yeah, totally. That'll be great.
I'm trying to figure out what they were trying to do with that train. I'm really not
The
sure.
first or the second?
The second one.
The second one.
Yeah, exactly.
Make an awesome explosion.
I doubt that.
It was Michael Bay's job before he became a film director.
I guess I had to do it at least one point to see see how it would crash.
I don't know. Anyway,
Spectacularly.
so yeah,
Definitely.
we'll tie up Mark and then we'll continue. I guess continue into the cave.
Sure.
Yep.
So you
To
get
the
a
Cave
light
of
source.
Wonders.
You get a light source. The cave, the cave does get shallower and shallower as it progresses. It might go about 30 or 40 feet. Kind of winds a little bit before it comes to a dead end. Where it comes to a dead end, the ceiling is only a couple feet off the ground. You obviously don't need to go all the way up there to spot that, so you don't have to get onto your hands and knees. You can just be stooped.
I guess we can find a spot to just like sit down. I guess then.
Yeah, yep. You do realise, or you can notice, when you shine your light throughout the, and I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm motioning with my arms to indicate how
Yep.
you're shining your light because
It's because you're tired.
I'm, trying to cast Jedi mind tricks upon you through
That
internet.
doesn't work on us. Only XP and money to level.
Fair enough. You can see. You can see.
Oh, it's so random.
Why is there a camera there? It doesn't look like it's look like it's the middle of
Thomas the Tank Engine goes postal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can see that where it is a dead end, and you can smell it as well. There are what appear to be at least a fair number, you'd probably say 3 or 4 bodies, which have been reduced to skeletal remains
Oh,
in
lovely.
various forms of, like, I suppose you could say, just being the bones seem to be scattered almost through the area, and they are covered with a slightly pulsating yellowish mouldy kind of thing.
Oh, yay.
That's not usually a good sign. I
Let's
suppose
not.
it's better than the rain.
It seems to
I
have
just
been
not touching.
agitated. Seems to have been agitated, the mould, by the light source.
Mm.
And backing away.
Oh, we're not sending Mark in?
No.
There might be radioactive spiders that can bite.
Seem to be agitated by the light source.
So what are we doing? That mold looks a bit fishy.
Well, it's not. It's mold. It can't really do that much.
So when I say
No,
agitated, it obviously it has been movement within it, as though the mold has reacted and almost become, I guess you could say, slightly, if it can, aggressive towards the light, like a moth moving towards the light. The mold has seemed to have tried to move towards the light.
Don't go to the light.
In the better light, did the mold look ochre?
No,
Definitely just
looked
yellow.
it looked a kind of a bright banana-y coloured yellow.
Somebody breathe some in.
I feel the need to not be there.
I think we need to set a really large fire if we want to deal with whatever that is. And we don't have any like dry wood, so let's go elsewhere.
It's just mold. What's the worst you can do?
I believe you can go and fight.
I mean,
them out
whatever
yourself.
happened to the rest of those skeletons, that's the worst it can do. That could happen.
That is concerning.
Although whether the skeletons already had them, whether there were skeletons before the mold came is
True. That's entirely a possibility. Maybe we should push a donkey in there and see what happens.
No, the donkeys.
We
are
like the
way more
donkeys too
vulnerable.
much.
donkeys are actually valuable.
Well, there you go. I mean, you can go check it out if you want.
This is why I was suggesting we poke Mark in there.
What? Surely
I'm happy with the decision to find elsewhere.
Yep.
Nodgrim, it is quite obvious to your eye that the remains are those of dwarves.
Ooh. I'll go back in and have
One
a
of the
closer
legs
look.
Shorter than another.
Yeah, you can tell by the shape and the size of the bones, what you can see that's not completely covered by the mould. That yes, these are in fact dwarves, probably adult dwarves.
No identifying sigils or
No.
clothing style.
Anything which is organic is pretty much gone.
Yeah. Okay.
There are
Does
you
anybody-
can see some scraps of what might have been metal armor lying beneath the mould, but the organic material that held it all together is long gone.
Does anybody have a 10-foot pole?
Yes.
Cut one from a tree.
No, Alan, of course. Sorry, Hypatia.
So should I have a look to see if there's any sign that it's our dwarf?
Maybe just poke at the pile first with like the pole.
Hypatia hands Nogrim the 10-foot pole. Happy poking! I'll be over here.
I'm gonna cover him with my bow.
Which one?
Nogrum walks up, holds his breath, and turns over the remains.
Okay. You start digging through the mould, poking at the remains of the dead dwarves. Not all of them obviously have armor when you start digging through it.
Thank goodness. I thought you were going to say not all of them are dead. Please kill me.
They are dead long ago, or at least maybe it looks long ago. But you know, the mold might have stripped all the organic material in a matter of hours or days. Who knows? You start poking through it, and there's no real easy way to tell whether they were male or female or who they were, but they are clearly dwarves. It looks to be that there's at least 2 suits of, or at least there were 2 suits of armor beneath the mould. You think there's a weapon or 2 in there as well. It's hard.
Is there a standard for where weaponsmiths put their mark?
There's not a standard, but you know, depending upon the weapon would be where they would put it. Axes and swords would have it on the blade, obviously.
I'll attempt to drag the weapons out with the 10-foot stick.
Okay. You start.
I'll just out of interest, what's the mold doing while this is happening?
It's getting all over the stick.
Okay.
It's not looking like. I mean, it
Be
is.
back in a minute.
Sure. It is releasing spores every now and then as he's prodding it. But, you know, it's not turning into some amorphous entity which is trying to reach out with a pseudopod and grab the dwarf and drag him to his demise. Yeah.
Well, that's a good start.
Yep.
But yes, there are a considerable amount of spores that are being released every now and then as he's prodding around within. Alright, you can eventually drag one of the weapons out. It looks to be a short sword. It is pitted. The cord on the hilt is long gone. It looks to be, you know, considerably damaged.
I sort of wipe it off on the floor of the cave, trying to get any sort of spores and shit off of it, and then I have a close look at it to see if I can see any
Can
maker.
you please, at this point in time, roll a d20 for me? In particular, roll a saving throw versus poison.
Versus poison.
Well,
Get a
there's your
boot.
d20. That's not a good roll for a saving throw versus poison.
Oh yeah.
As you're wiping it off, you unfortunately breathe in some spores, like a bit of a cloud of it gets released, because there's a considerable amount of it on the end of the stick and still covering the sword. You feel instantly like there's a stinging sensation in your nose going down the back of your throat. You can you can taste really, you know, rancid bile almost instantly coming back up. You feel weak instantly. Your muscles contract.
Get back, it's toxic.
You start staggering, I guess. It is really having an effect on you.
I stagger away from it,
Good thing we don't know that
leaving
we
the
can
stick
kill.
behind.
Oh, Ali's gonna beef.
I guess I'll have to make a new one.
I mean, you're welcome. You're welcome to go in there and get it.
6 for me.
Yeah,
Like-
nah.
You like, I mean, by all means, please. If you're that desperate.
Nodgrim suddenly belches forth a big mouthful of blood.
Oh, gee. Somebody
That's
heal
not
him.
good.
I believe cleric, heal thyself.
Yeah.
Now, if only we had a second.
I was just looking up the player's handbook to see what else Cure Light does in first edition. Does it do?
Paralysis.
Paralysis.
Cures paralysis.
Good thing is you're not paralyzed.
Yet.
Bad thing is you feel like there's a second mouthful of blood on its way up.
Ooh.
Those of you witnessing this,
Quick, jump in the river.
he has blood coming out of his nose and
Wow.
matting into his beard and moustache.
Quick,
Oh.
let's hustle him into the river. Maybe we'll top him off.
Man, I wish I had a 10-foot pole to keep him 10 feet away from me.
Yeah. Quick, we've got that lasso. Lasso him and drag him into the river.
He's not.
Why are you trying to spread the mold?
I want to
Yeah.
It sounds like Craig has actually, unfortunately, contracted yellow mold.
Contracted yellow mold.
It feels like I've contracted yellow mold.
Here's an important dice roll.
That's really good or really, really bad?
Nodgrum's eyes roll into the back of his head, and he slumps to the ground. Not so much a slump, more like a head loll.
Face plant.
forward.
Head lolls
Wow.
back, but knees buckle, body crashes.
Well, that's not good.
Okay, does anyone else have any knowledge of healing or anything?
No.
My healing pretty much my healing skills pretty much consist of. Well, there's a hole there. It was made by some sort of weapon. Let's stick a finger in and see what happens.
I have a suggestion.
Yes. Suggest a way.
Throwing cats at things.
Oh.
Well, in this case, it's a dwarf, but
Since these guys are undecided, I'm going to grab his legs and drag him out here.
Sure. You can move him to where you want him to be, right into the path of Mark.
Yes.
Where did you put Mark? There was never any consensus.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah, no,
never
it's
turned to
true.
a tree. That one.
Cool.
yeah. I would have moved Mark there, but for
I
some
can't.
reason I don't have control.
You drag Nodgrim out. As you were dragging him out, Minerva, you realise that there are still... That's impressive. Lenza went straight through the wall of the cave. As you were dragging him out, Minerva, you can, because you are close, still recognise that there are signs of life. He is breathing, though laboured it is.
That just means you've still got XP to get.
Yeah. Noctum, could you move yourself out to here? Since I'm trying to bring you out. Maybe the rain will wash the spores off him or something. I don't know.
I mean, water's probably a good chance. Get something down his throat. At least try and wash something somewhere else. Who knows?
Do we have a pillow on us?
Could we title "Get Something Down His Throat" the episode title?
Quiet.
Was it sorry, Den?
Could we title the episode "Get Something Down His Throat"? Because that seems to have been the most sensible suggestion.
No.
Anyway,
Title.
I'll actually give Minerva a hand.
Okay. Yes, Nodgrim is alive, barely. He has stopped retching up blood, but he is, mostly lifeless. His body is not limp. His body is actually gone. Pretty rigid. The muscles have all contracted. His eyes completely rolled back. The blood is still slowly seeping from his nose. Yeah. I believe he is a heavy lad. Thankfully, Minerva is a strong lass.
For Craig's sake, could you maybe have him make a...
So I'm heading to Skeleton.
Make what?
But Craig seems to be also suffering from the yellow mold.
Yes.
Describe it.
Yes. I mentioned, as I said before, when he went into his last coughing fit, it sounds like he's contracted yellow mold. Yes, but you have one, for all intents and purposes, lifeless, though still with a modicum of life attached, barely, dwarf on your hands.
Cool.
We'll get into the river. Get into the river first and try and wash out whatever the hell it is. At least the blood off him.
Where is he? There he is. You dunk him in the river.
How about we get a Worskin to do that, so he doesn't accidentally drown, considering he's mostly lifeless.
That is a sensible suggestion. We put him on the bank and Wash him off with some water skins.
You do
Yep.
that. And it's also raining, and the rain is getting quite heavy as well.
Yep.
You can spend some time cleaning him up. The blood is dark, darker than it should be. It has stained his beard and his moustache, but you can, if you want, scrub and, brush and oil his facial fur.
Well,
Massage his scalp while you're at it.
We're more concerned with actually trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with him and
Yeah.
have him not die.
It would
Getting
be
rid of
good if
foul
you.
blood seems
It'd be
okay.
good if you had some knowledge of poisons, but it doesn't. I don't think any of you do
No.
anymore.
I mean, I may have some basic stuff because again, huntsman as my second skill, but like nothing. I doubt I've ever encountered something like this before.
You have not encountered something like this before. No. If it was a venom, you might have a modicum of knowledge about how to deal with it.
But yeah, no, this is much well beyond me.
Yep. But you can do your best. You have cleaned the no wound, but you have poured some water into his mouth and made sure he doesn't drown on it. Problem is that you all saw what happened. Whatever it is within his lungs. Perhaps if he is to recover, rest, unless there is some clerical assistance. Unfortunately, you have one cleric that is a zombie and one cleric that is unconscious.
Yeah, we have had a good run of luck with our clerics already.
When we've rinsed
Mark
him
will
off,
save me.
we probably want to get him drier too, so I would suggest back to the camping spot.
Indeed.
I mean, there is another cave we would go to.
Yeah, that one will keep us warm.
There
well,
are,
if we just go to the mouth of the cave, that's not too bad.
yep,
I mean,
there are
that-
also, in this cave here, there were some areas that were mostly dry, even though most of the cave was open to above. You know, there was still areas that had ceiling, and then you had 30 to 40 feet, remember, of cave with ceiling before you got to the yellow fungus.
I'd prefer not to be
Yeah,
anywhere
but
near
if
the
that
yellow
thing can
fungus.
move in any way, I don't want to be in that cave with it.
It's fair enough.
Yeah.
Hmm. So we haven't seen any evidence of that. We've only seen that it reacts to light. So if we don't,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Well,
so
it crawled its way up the stick. It's got some kind of movement to it.
No, it
And
didn't
we've
crawl its
also
way up the
seen
stick. He was
something
sticking the
pale.
stick in it, and it basically attached itself to it. That's
Oh,
all.
I thought.
Yep.
I thought it was moving up the stick.
No, he was prodding around, dragging things through it,
did he get that short sword out after all that?
He did get that short sword out.
and that's
but
what caused
we
the problem.
didn't take it with him.
He was trying to
we didn't-
clean the short sword, and that's when he got a small cloud
Yeah.
of spores.
Yeah, I think we fire that stuff and then dig through it. When
I'm okay with this.
you can-
Do you reckon it'll burn?
We'll find out.
a short sword
Let's
won't
just-
burn. It looks like
No, the fungus.
No, the dwarf.
I think you'll find
I like.
organic stuff burn.
All right,
Well, I've got some oil, and if you want to set that on fire, that's all good by me. But I
Sounds
suggest
good
someone
to
with a
me.
better constitution than me because I am somewhat.
Oh, I was.
Well,
just-
Hypatia is strong. She is somewhat feeble, and yeah, even man, last time she got that cold, oh, that was horrible.
I was just gonna wait until it's dry and then use some branches and stuff. There's a lot of trees around here.
there
All your
are.
stuff
It
can
might
burn.
take a while for it to dry.
That's true. All right, if you want to use oil, I'm fine with using oil as well.
Yeah, well, probably wouldn't have to. Oh no, would I? Yeah, I've got at least more than one flask of oil. I can spare some.
Sure. The rolling thunder, peals of thunder now seem to be growing closer, and all of a sudden there is one almighty cracking, raucous, as the whole area is illuminated, bolt of lightning, and your ears are all suddenly struck numb temporarily by
Ooh.
the thunder. It was a massive bolt.
Wow,
Very, very frightening.
must have been must have been clues.
Very.
I would recommend we go back into the cave where
Yeah.
we
Shall
were
we go
just
to-
because out of the rain, out of lightning, and slightly warmer in there somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
wearing a whole lot of metal armor says, let's not be in a thunderstorm.
Not that.
I'm the one with
Not,
the
not that
pole
cave, the one
arm.
up here.
Okay.
Yeah. The cave of
Sure.
bad or happy memories. you'll
Okay,
say.
that cave, as you go back to that cave, who is taking...
Can we take Mark
The
with
dwarf.
us? Untie him.
Are we taking Mark with us?
I'll take. I'll
Because you're
I'll go with the dwarf.
probably the physically weakest in the group, Linza.
Yes.
Taking a dwarf in a male shirt with accoutrements.
That's
might
why
be
I'll be just helping out Minerva.
giving
Have-
directions.
Yeah,
Have
I'll
I
help drag him
regained
along.
my mojo?
Have you reclaimed your mojo? Yeah, you're feeling a lot better than what you were previously.
Right. I'll drag Nodgrim along.
Okay.
Is there
I'll
anyone
help.
helping Mark, or are we all just dragging Nodgrim?
Well, surely 2 people can handle Nodgrim.
You can.
Yeah. Why don't you just grab Mark Kruger?
Okay. I will zombie Ed then.
Sure. You can all manage to transport yourselves to that cave. You notice that the passage by where you journeyed through the weirdness to the cave of, or the chamber of lava and weird spires, etc., is no longer there. There is no passage. There is instead a small cave similar to the one that you found before that had the fungus in it. This one is empty. It is just a bare dirt floor.
Is it covered? Is there a roof?
Yep.
Excellent. That's better
That'll
than
do.
nothing. Let's camp in here. Is Nodgrim coming, or we just look at it if we left him?
No.
I'll move him.
We can't move his character.
Brian kid there.
Yeah.
That's fine. You are able to ride out the majority of the storm.
Does Nodgrim get any better while this is happening?
Nodgrim,
I don't know.
are you there? Can you make another saving throw versus poison, please?
Yep, no worries.
Does he get any benefit for being an dwarf?
He
He does.
But a 2
What
is
it-
never going to make it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that modifier is, so I didn't apply.
It's 2, I think.
And not enough.
So
That
he
might
got it.
be enough.
So
He's
you
a
can
cleric.
see.
Maybe.
1d20. You clicked on the saving throw versus poison, didn't you, Brian?
I did, yep.
Yep, so
Ah.
1d20 plus 0 greater than 7, because his saving throw would be 7,
Ah, right.
and he makes it.
Woohoo!
Which is, good.
Certainly is for him.
Does that mean he starts coming to, or does that just mean he stops choking to death?
That means that he will start coming to eventually.
Means I won't start coughing clouds of spores into the cave.
Oh God!
Oh, you might still.
However, when after numerous hours pass, and his eyes finally start to flitter open, the thunderstorm outside is running riot. You can barely hear each other talk, even when you're yelling at each other face to face.
That must be a relief for you guys.
It certainly is for me. It appears that Nodgrim's skin has taken on a slightly yellow tinge, as though he is jaundiced.
Awesome.
Oh.
That's
His
So how can
eyes are bloodshot, and he seems to be hacking a lot and coughing considerably.
So how do I feel?
Oh, how do you think you feel?
Pretty lousy?
Yep.
Lousy's a word. I might have gone with rotten.
So how sheltered is the cave?
You are well sheltered in here.
Excellent. You should probably set a fire.
There is no
Yep.
wood.
Burn Mark. The smell will probably be bad.
The storm, for those of you with any outdoor skills, Lenza,
Yes.
It looks like it has settled in and may be here for a considerable time, possibly even, a day or more, or longer.
Yep. Excellent.
So am I conscious?
You are conscious, yes, but you are effectively immobile. You feel like you have run non-stop for a couple days. Your muscles are in agony. Every breath you take, you feel a burning sensation in your lungs. Your throat is dry and picture the sorest throat you've ever had. It's worse than that. And you have a taste of blood and bile and who knows what in your mouth.
I very slowly try to assess my own condition.
You're fucked.
Good.
But you think you will live.
Woohoo!
Does he think he'll live, or does the voice inside him tell him that?
Both.
All right. Okay. So first off, First off, as I'll go into my survival huntsman mode and inform everyone we need to make a fire. Like regardless of how long we stay here, Nodrigan looks like he needs some bloody warmth. Otherwise, he's going to probably just not get any better very quickly.
Yep.
The best, again, as obviously you can hear, it's quite wet outside. So finding wood is going to be nigh impossible.
It will be tough. You might be able to find some in the tighter
Denser
bundles of
trees.
Yep. You might be able to find some limbs that you can split open as well and get to the wood inside. Even though it will still be green, it won't be necessarily sodden.
Sodden, which is also good. So it's just we break into a few teams and start seeing what we can find outside.
So at this point as well, you realise that you have left the donkeys behind.
What was
We
it?
should get
I'll
them.
give time.
Where did we leave them?
Near the camp?
Yeah,
Or at the camp?
we're at the camp.
Dibs on someone who's not me going.
Caradon.
Okay, sorry.
Oh.
I assume we would have brought them with us. I didn't think that we wouldn't have, but because we did state that we were literally going to we were planning to camp out in the cave over here. So I assume we would have just brought them with us along with Mark. But I guess we didn't state that. So
Well, I was under the impression that you were making a mad dash because of the calamitous injury that, had befallen Nodgrim, and the fact that you were dragging him and dragging Mark.
all right, so sorry. Okay, so no, the donkeys are still at the other cave. That's fine. I thought you said they were still back at the camp,
No,
where we'd set up last night.
that's where I assumed that they were.
I said we probably would have brought them with us to the cave because we were moving there before Nodgrim inhaled the.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. We'll say that then you've taken them to the other cave. That's fine.
Yeah.
I
Well, we
thought
would have brought them with us still.
I thought you were leaving your camp and just moving over to do a bit of a reconnoitre. But that's fine. We'll say you've got the donkeys.
And the other camp, in the other cave anyway. We should probably bring them across here too.
Do we have enough potassium?
Maybe.
Enough potassium.
All right. Anyway,
Too much.
I would like to again attempt to try and find some sort of kind of fuel for a fire, or at least something I could use to burn.
Sure. You can go out into the incredibly heavy rain with incredibly low visibility and try to find some wood. Are you going by yourself, or is anyone assisting in this endeavour?
Absolutely go into pairs because otherwise, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, I'm happy to travel out and get some wood with you.
Cool.
And then we can just bring it back to the cave and let it dry off or something like that.
Yeah, or at least try and
I'll
find
keep
something.
an eye on Nodgrim.
Could another two people go and retrieve the donkeys?
Sure. Okay.
So we're basically, I think it's two.
So presumably Caradon and I will get the donkeys because one of them's Caradon's last time I checked.
Yep.
Good luck in keeping those iron spikes on Rusty, but
And I assume Hypatia's getting the other one because the second donkey is no longer bound to an account. So you're making sure that it's yours?
Well, you know, it's an important resource to the party to
It's got a
carry
name, man.
resources such as
Was it
loot.
Quixote?
It's Donkey Over Time.
Ah, that's right.
Oh, I was just going to call it Skinny Onion.
So it's Donkey OT.
Nice.
Cool. So, I guess do we have to make a roll to find this grail, or what's the process here?
No, you do not. It'll just take you time.
Yep, cool.
You can go about looking at the more densely packed trees, and
There's some
you-
just to our left, actually, after leaving the cave.
There are, yep. And you can find some small amounts of wood that you think would be suitable. Other wood you can lay out nearby to dry out.
Dry out, yeah.
And you can split some asunder to get to green, but not sodden wood if you need to. So it'll take you a fair amount of time. You are moving and working incredibly slow because it is
the
slow
wet.
going. And you come back and you are not just drenched to the bone, you are drenched to your soul.
Yeah, I think that's what it
You
is.
think,
But hopefully once the fire is going, it'll actually get better.
you think you could wring out your eyeballs and get a pint of fresh water.
Oh, excellent.
Are you still there, Craig?
That's gonna be a no.
Hello?
Was that snoring?
Yeah, that was
It
me.
did sound like
Oh,
It wasn't Craig though.
Yeah.
Hello?
on the upside. You have become Aquaman.
I have. Or she has.
Oh no! Those who are out in the water.
Yep. Looks like I'm going to text Craig. Say, wake up. Oh, no.
no, we cannot hear you.
Less than me even.
Have you,
You can just type in
Craig, connected? Okay, Craig, you know how I was telling you about that dongle midway down the cord? Have you accidentally sat on it and hit the mute button? Because I did that a few times in the past with that headset.
There is no green circle.
No. Disconnect your headset and plug it back in.
Hitting the mute button while masturbating furiously is a common problem.
I've not encountered that. Take your word for it.
Big Mick has died. Oh no. Well,
Oh,
Wait, I thought Mark had died. What?
unplug
Again.
and plug back in. Reboot PC. Hold
Have you restarted it yet?
intervention. Pray to the 8.
That is a bizarre one.
He's done all of them. He even prayed to the 8. Well, that's, foolish because they're assholes.
Oh, you guys are using Discord now to type. Don't.
oh no! I said a geef. He's a setite. Ah, we Ventru cannot allow that.
Alright. So you have rebooted your PC, have you, Craig? Because I didn't see you disconnect from
Turn it on.
Roll20.
Ah, dirty.
Reboot your PC and rejoin.
Cool.
Alrighty then.
So am I able to get a fire going?
Yes,
With what
you are.
would I-
It will take
Excellent.
some time, but you do get a fire going. It is only small. The smoke is considerably dense. But yes.
Yes. I'm absolutely going to change my clothes because, yeah. So
You
I
haven't
was
changed
saying,
clothes. Effort.
I do have a change of clothes because living with one set of clothes is bad.
I prefer to think of it as an extra set of armor.
That's a good question. Is my armor doesn't really get soaked, does it? Or is that bad for it, or not really?
You wear leaf guard. It
Yeah.
is surprisingly water resistant,
Mhm.
but it is still very, very wet.
Wet, yeah. I'll take that off and just, I guess set it up to dry somewhere around the cave. Hopefully it's warmerish soon.
Yeah, don't
How
worry, I was
is
looking at
Nodgrim
gifts. Nodgrim is not going well, but he is.
Sorry, what was that about gifts, sir?
I've minimised Discord, and I think I'll leave it minimised for the rest of the night. I'm going to turn off notifications as well.
Oh dear.
Nodgrim is not well, but the fire does make you feel a little bit worse.
Aw.
But it warms you up. But it makes your
Wise
muscles
choice,
feel,
Grail.
makes your muscles
There
feel.
is a Chris Hemsworth gif.
So, did I lose hit points as a result of that?
No, surprisingly, you have not lost any hit points.
Okay. I'll just lie in the corner and pray to the gods.
Was that Craig rejoining? I don't want to open
That's
Discord to have a look.
Craig's disconnected.
Yeah.
You could have told him. I mean, he would have learned. But yeah, no, that wasn't.
So anyway, now we're just letting, I guess we're letting the mold have a nice warm place to breed inside Nodgrim's.
And he got
I
wet.
guess you could say the future is looking nog grim for him.
Still, hypothermia is bad, and we should try to not get that.
Yeah.
That's right. And I mean, what's the worst that can happen when you've been covered in water and you're all moist, and then you get warmed up and create kind of like a steamy type humid environment? Mold hates that.
Right, steam it out. Cold and steamy is what we need.
So the storm will rage for some time.
I guess we'll camp in a cave.
The day,
Yeah.
the day will pass. You'll be in the cave. The
Russian time.
storm is still belting down outside. You can hear the thunder is still cracking down at very regular intervals. You can hear the wind whistling into the cave. It's almost deafening. And at times you were having to cover your ears just because of the cacophony occurring. But thankfully, as the night wears on, the weather does calm down. It's still raining, but the storm seems to have abated for the most part. Off in the distance, you still hear the crack of thunder every now and then, and you do see an illumination light up the sky through the opening of the cave. But yeah, for the most part, it has passed. You can set your watch. You can feed the fire. You will have to probably at some stage venture out for more wood. So whether or not you want to keep the fire going during the whole night, or let it die down to just embers and just feed the embers, which will provide less warmth but probably keep it going longer. It's up to you, but nothing will occur during the night. Nodgrim will... Is that Craig joining?
Was it?
Yes.
Yes. But he's still not making noise.
No.
Yeah. Nothing on the green circle.
Nope.
So Caradon can become a typist.
Well, I don't see him lighting up at the moment.
No, so
Yeah.
Might be his push to talk setup or something.
maybe, or might have a different playback or recording option set.
Or as he said, the mic might have died.
It's possible. It was
Sorry.
an old mic.
Big mic.
Big Mick. We used to play cards, vetoes with a guy called Big Mick, or which we called Big Mick. He was, what, about 175 kilos?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember him?
Yeah, he was part of the Newcastle University Gamers Society as well.
Huh. Oh, yes. Brian, you should only type in Discord.
Can you type in the game chat in
Roll20.
in Roll20, Craig, after you rejoin? You can become a typist for the moment.
No, he was just going to continue typing in Discord, so you had to look at it.
Then I'm afraid that Kerrigan will just lose XP, won't she?
Do we make money if she goes down a level from XP loss? I mean, you've got to spend money to go up levels, so that just makes sense.
You would think so.
That's
wouldn't
not-
you?
Something about
Laws of conservation,
Dominic
no?
says no.
Really? Not just basic economics?
Can you rejoin
That's,
Roll20, please, Craig? If you can hear us.
I
I
think
believe you can.
he should be able to. He
it all
just
depends.
talked about the mic.
It all
Mike
depends
doesn't
whether-
work, so busy getting ice cream.
Yeah, it all depends whether he's thrown the headset across the room in disgust and gone to bury his face in a tub of ice cream.
In the meantime, after spending the day in a cave huddled around the fire, how is Nodgrim? Has he improved in any sense and fashion over the past couple of hours, or what?
No, he has developed a fever, and he is feeling incredibly ill. Can you
Excellent.
just rejoin? I'll have to look at your headset, give you a hand with that then, I guess, Craig. Just rejoin Roll20 and just type in the chat. Yes, he has developed a fever. He is burning up. He is conscious. He is mostly lucid. Nodgrim, you yourself can identify the fact that, yes, you are quite poorly.
Do I think that a cure light wounds would assist my condition in any way?
Nope. You do not think that. You
Good.
think that what you have encountered is far beyond the reach of such low magics.
Has anyone got any ale?
Sadly,
Spirits, perhaps?
Somebody had a wineskin, I think.
Just in case it's my last.
You're getting better. Don't talk like that.
sadly, I don't have a wineskin on me. That's a gross oversight.
Oh, I thought someone did have a wineskin. My mistake. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, 2 people have wineskins, as far as I'm aware, because I did their equipment list and I put wineskins on there.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
One would be Mike.
I have 2-pint wine.
I have a water skin, not a wine skin.
I also have 2 water skins.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a lot of skins.
Oh, I don't know.
Skin
You
in the
can call
game.
me Flint.
Yeah, I mean, he can almost. He just needs a team of shirts, and he's got a game.
So do you see what I... Caradwin, I sent you a message in the chat. Do you see it?
Baby,
Bueller.
baby.
Bueller.
Can you type a Y or an N? Yes or no? You see it? You don't? Are you there?
I'd take that as a no.
Are you crying? Are you crying into ice cream?
Was the ice cream the plan all along?
It could have been.
15 minutes later, oh look, my leg's working again.
That's good.
Okay. The rain will continue the next day. Unabated.
Conspire.
It will continue unabated for the entire day. It is heavy, but not belting down anymore. It is just consistent and constant. If you want, you can go out and retrieve more wood. Lancer.
At this-
Because
I mean-
you have gone through your entire stash of wood.
Yeah.
Does Nogrim seem any improved from being near the...
No, the fever
No,
is
it's
burning.
fever is happening now.
Burning through him quite considerably, and he is lathered in a good sheen of sweat.
While they're out, I'm going to make him some broth using some of my dry rations and some of the rainwater to attempt to feed to him to nourish him.
I drag myself further away from the dying fire, just to a slightly cooler place.
Yep. That makes sense.
But, so where I am. Hey.
After Lenza gets some more wood, which takes another hour or two at least, possibly even longer. And this is why it's always good to carry a couple faggots of firewood in a waterproof canvas.
I will probably
on
be
a
getting some of
donkey.
that next time.
You will be able to stoke the fire up. Nodgrim's fever will burn quite fiercely. He will throw up a few more times. Thankfully, the vomit is just bile.
No blood?
There's flecks of dry blood within it, but it's not the viscous blood that you were seeing previously. When you make the broth for him, and Nodgrim has no appetite, either you can try and force feed it to him, Nodgrim can try and force feed it to himself. Either way, it won't stay down long, and every time he takes a mouthful, not long after, it will come back up. You whisper with a /W, but with no space between a /W. Yes, but a /.
Well, I mean,
Yep, cool. I guess, okay, so I guess then, are we just going to hang around here until it gets better then? Is that the plan, or what are we thinking, guys?
Well, I'd like to spend some time learning what the other arcane user has knowledge of trading arcane secrets. So
Well,
fine with sticking out.
he seems
Yes.
incredibly sick to me, and I'm thinking, I sort of deferring to Lenz's judgment insofar as we move we get out of there and get back to town as soon as we can, get out without getting lost.
So Minerva, you are asking Caradwin to share spells in spellbook?
Yes.
Cool. Well, while they're doing that, in terms of moving out, I'm just more concerned about the fact that Nodgrim is in no state to actually go anywhere, and he would slow us down. I'd prefer to stay at least around here in the area that we know before heading out.
Agreed.
I'll be fine. Just prop me on a donkey.
Also,
Yeah.
That was my plan.
On that mold. Revenge on the mold by burning it. Anybody?
Tempting.
Still, I would prefer Nogrim to be able to actually at least stand up by himself in case something bad happens, rather than you just have been sitting on a donkey while the entire party dies around you.
The good thing is his muscles are so constricted with pain and so rigid that if you get him on his feet, he probably will be able to stand by himself.
Hey,
Not move anywhere, but
Not quite what I meant, but okay.
we can
just prop me up with my battle axe, looking threatening.
Yeah, exactly. We can put him in poses and take the selfies that we want. Now's our chance.
In the meantime, Hypatia and Kruber, do we want to, explore a bit more of this area to see if we can find, something of usefulness while we're here? Because rather than just sitting in a cave for the entire time while Nogrim gets better.
Well, if it's not, if the heavens aren't completely opening, sure, why not?
I believe they are completely open.
No, the storm has passed, or at least
Storm has
the
passed.
worst of it.
It's just a heavy but consistent and constant rain. Occasionally there is a crack of thunder off in the distance, but it is not directly above you anymore. The lightning is in no way threatening to you. It's just, the ground is very sodden outside, and the river has breached its banks in a number of places.
Mhm.
Alright. Well, I guess I should, wander off. Yeah, we can do that. I just have to, make sure my armor doesn't rust and it's all good.
Pretty much. I assume you have some kind of covering for it for cases like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're called roofs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can leave your armor here.
Yeah,
Mm.
nah.
Sadly, what he said.
But yeah, if maybe we'll wait till at least the rain isn't so heavy. Hopefully it'll lighten up soon, and then once that's done, we can wander around a bit and see what we can find.
All right. Unless you are going to do anything whilst waiting for the rain to lighten up, we can
Treat spells.
hop, skip, and jump forward a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't know anything else we want to do.
2 days, the weather will be. 2 more
Oh,
days,
jeez.
the weather will be like this. So you will have had to have gone through 3 days of rations each.
I will mark that off now.
Nordkrum, on the 3rd day, the fever will break.
Awesome. Oh, thanks for looking after me, boys.
You are weak because you haven't been able to keep much down. You haven't thrown up for a day or so though, but you still had very low. You've had a very reduced appetite. Your muscles are still very sore.
So I haven't eaten 3 days trail rations?
No, you have not eaten 3 days of travel rations.
Sweet.
You're good.
I'll put them back.
Sheridan asks a good point.
I start munching on one now that my stomach feels a little bit more settled.
You whispered incorrectly.
Yeah, it's slash
it's
W.
like slash W, and then you type the name of the person after that with the space. Right?
You can also do a do to the GM.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the easiest way.
Ah, damn it!
So yes,
So yes.
the ground outside is incredibly sodden. You find that the going is tough even for the elves that are light on their feet and not encumbered by heavy armour. But, you can do stuff now. It's still raining, but it's only just raining inconsistently and lightly now. The clouds for the most part have parted. Occasionally the sun will shine through, only occasionally, but it's not as bad as what it was by any stretch.
Excellent. How are you feeling, Nodgrim? Are you able to be up and about, or what?
I'll be fine. I can keep up, I'm sure.
So put him on a donkey.
Pretty I think so. No point in wasting his strength. So yeah. Like we've eaten 3 days worth of food each, so the donkey's probably a bit lighter now.
So we'd all be on 4 points now. After a few days, Julian?
Was that sorry?
We'd all be on 4 hit points by now?
Yes. Yeah, everyone's fully healed.
Awesome. Let's get out of here then.
Yep.
Now, you wanted to discuss with Caradwin the possibility of discussing spells that you
Yes.
had. The small cave in the cramped conditions with the poor light is no way to study spells. You know that. Caradwin knows that. You need time, you need comfort, you need, the ability to practice and try to understand through both research and experimentation. This is not going to be that place.
Very well. I just didn't want to go stir crazy.
Yeah, you can discuss the finer points of magic and the theories of it, and you can play
What
I
I
Spy.
remember.
And then I'm going stir crazy.
Yeah, I'm personally all might be, so it's good to get out.
So Caradron is what? Are you going out in the heavy rain, Caradron? Is that what you're doing? Before it breaks or after? And
Tap 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 tap.
This is the suspense.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
I'm guessing after.
So
Oh.
one day during the heavy rain, Caradron walks out of the cave. This is where this
Did we
is
tie a
the
rope around it?
this is the
Huh?
this is the point where if it was on a tabletop, I'd pass 3d6 to her. And sure, Caradron just wanders off.
What? Where are you going?
And no, it does not do what it did previously, Caradron. But you do get very wet. So there's that.
Swings and roundabouts.
Anyway, let us leave this place. I feel like much more that we can do unless we want to go burn the mold.
God, no. Let's
I would
definitely
like to
not go
burn.
anywhere near it.
But that might be the body of the dwarf we're looking for might be there. Or the body of
And
the
I
you
was
guys are
all
looking
for
might be
taking the shin bones of dwarves back with us. But
there. What?
It's up to you, but I'm a
Sounds-
dwarf with pretty hardy constitution. I wouldn't go anywhere near it.
So for your info as well, this is for both Caradron and Minerva. A magic user or elf can rewrite, a magic user, or an elf in this case, of course Caradron is the elf racial class, can rewrite the spells through research and memory at a cost of 1 week of game time and 1,000 gold for each spell level.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
I might reduce the cost.
Oh, they might use it in that case.
1,000 gold. Ouch. Okay. Takes a while to get a spell. I see.
Well, obviously it's, otherwise you just get a couple party members that are spellcasters and all of a sudden they've got every spell in the game.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yes.
I only learn them 40% of the time, but yeah.
Yeah. So I will probably reduce the cost considerably.
By the end of your career, you may have memorized a first level spell.
So, yes, your theory was not correct, but it was a theory. It's worth testing. Drizzle, etc. What were you intending to do when the rain broke? Sorry, were you going to go to the other cave again, or?
No one wants to burn the mold in revenge?
That
Also in
seems
the hopes
reasonable,
of finding
from a
sweet
safe
loot.
distance.
There could be sweet loot underneath it.
I'll be staying here.
There could, but it turns out the power of bonus is not sufficient to outweigh
The power of what?
You broke up a little bit.
I know the power of bonus. I know that Aaron at least has watched Cinema Sins.
Okay.
Well, we've got a flask of oil, so we can just sort of pour oil on it from a distance,
I'll even throw the
stand
flask of oil at
outside and
said
warn you.
thing. I'm quite happy to do that as well.
and then throw a torch in.
Yep.
Couldn't we just do that?
Sure.
Like throw some branches in there, pour some oil, throw a torch in.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's give that a go. Can we pile up some like light branches?
I
start
see
throwing
no
them
way.
in it?
As long as we don't go near it, because maybe
Yeah.
burning it may just release all crap into the air. So just as long as we're careful
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
We'll throw the
start to
torch
burn
and then we'll leave.
run away.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
You can do what you want to do. Explain in
In detail.
in,
So
Okay.
we
in
gather
moderate
up a whole
detail. What are you trying to do? You're trying to burn the mold by flaming
from
missile.
a lot of little, throw a lot of little branches at it, dry branches, hopefully,
Ish.
dry-ish branches. They got to be a bit dry.
Yep.
Then, pouring some oil in that
Or
direction.
possibly just throw the
Yeah,
possibly
throw
just
the
throw the whole
oil skin.
flask in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to come across any more dry branches now. Basically, over the last couple of days, Lenza has probably gone
Been
through this
collecting
whole
them?
area and, you know, she
Use it to
has...
survival.
There's
So
probably,
yeah.
there's probably a
Well,
couple of trees missing.
we've got a
In actual fact, when you do start coming out after the heavy rains and the storm, etc., and Lenz would have noticed this as well, some of these trees have been uprooted through from the incredibly heavy wind, etc.
Jeez.
Okay.
I'm glad we decided to go to a cave and not just prop against the stone wall, like some of us wanted to.
Well, it could have been a bit rubbish.
You never know. Never get in a
Well, we've got a flask of oil as well, so hopefully the flask of oil will still light the smaller branches on fire that we throw in there, and then throw in a burning torch that we
Sure,
take
we'll
them out.
say... okay, at this point, Lenza, make a d20 roll, or just any dice roll, doesn't matter. If you roll odds, you find some dry branches left somewhere.
Okay, let's have a look. Let's roll a d6, because why not?
Even you don't find enough dry branches to
Do this.
do the plan, but you know, oil is oil, and it may work. Flasks of oil aren't huge, but if you might
Babe,
be
the
able to-
mold is flammable. We'll never know if we don't light it on fire.
That's right.
the same thing is true of new party members.
Indeed. We don't need to find that out.
yet.
Indeed. Yes. So, shall we give it a
When
go?
she becomes a
Who's for
zombie,
giving it a go? Actually, it only matters if Al is, since this is a flask of oil.
I'm keen.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm keen as long as we maintain a safe distance.
All
Yep.
yours.
I'm back in the old cave in case there's another spore release.
Caradron, I know what happened to your mic. There haven't been any problems with Zelmarro's connection, so he's stolen all of your mic powers for you.
Okay, so I'll cover my mouth
Discord voodoo.
cover my mouth with a little bit of wet cloth. Throw in the flask of oil.
And there is plenty of wet cloth around.
Yeah.
Throw in.
Wow, what a party!
Do you want an attack roll to see how accurate I am at hitting?
It is
Said
more than
open flask
okay.
with,
It's not a problem. You will throw the oil in.
Mhm.
It doesn't cover much of it because, you know, the flasks don't break.
Yep.
It's because you don't want oil running down your back.
Yep.
But it will be open. It will glug out. You
Mhm.
can throw a flaming torch within.
Mhm.
And,
Leave.
well,
Yep, definitely leave.
this is what
Don't you want
happens.
to watch it for a minute?
This is
Yeah.
what happens. The oil doesn't really get much of a chance to ignite.
Ooh.
Okay. How far are you throwing this?
I'm glad I stayed back at the cave.
About 15 feet.
I'm readying an action, Grail.
Just make an attack roll. Just see how well you do it. Just using dex
yeah.
because you're throwing.
Oh, so just but d20 plus 2, is that what you mean?
Is that your dex bonus?
Yep.
Sure.
Alright.
Aiming for armor class 9. -1 for distance.
Sorry, did you say -1 for distance?
For distance, yes.
Okay, so just +1. I got a 7.
All right. It's not too bad. Hits the roof, I guess. Falls a tiny little bit short. Doesn't quite make it to where you threw the oil. But when the flame hits the ground, sparks off the roof, then strikes the ground just in front of the mould. The mould reacts again. It seems to try to be agitated by the light. It seems to be drawn towards the light, and then again, it's not moving as a living creature. It's just the mould seems to be, you know, shifting its mass slightly to point towards it, as though it was
Get away from
a plant following the sun.
Mhm.
Then it releases it almost recoils slightly. A puff of spores is released, and the spores then catch fire in the air, much like a windmill that's full of flour. The spores ignite one after the other, and the flame rips through the cave almost like an explosion.
Excellent.
Can I
Yes.
take my readied action now?
And that was...
To turn my back and start.
Yeah, moving away sounds like a good idea.
No, just slowly. If there's an explosion behind,
Hey,
you've got to be
plan
slow
was
walking
always
away.
to run
Minerva,
through.
there is a blast of incredibly hot air suddenly rushing towards you, a bit of fire. You feel that you may have lost your eyebrows, you're not entirely certain. At least some of your clothes is a bit singed, etc. You are short of breath.
Hey, I got dry.
But, you know, hey, it could have been worse, you could have been closer to it.
Yeah.
And yes, the mould is mostly burnt and singed, and there's patches of it on fire, etc. And now the oil's burning now.
All right. Well, if there are any patches of mold still,
Avoid them.
I was going to slowly push them towards the fire. There's not as much of them.
Sounds like you'd be way too close for that. The spores did explode pretty violently.
I know, but I was going to get like a long stick to do it with.
We don't
He's
have any
not
more
attached to this character yet.
I like my character. I just want to kill all the mold.
Uh,
Spores are bad news.
You can do that in time, that is fine. You will manage to push the mould towards the fire. There will be little puffs of spores every now and then, but it seems like most of the spores in the cave ignited in one fell swoop, so what's left isn't really large,
Dangerous.
and you are far enough away with either a freshly cut 10-foot pole or a 10-foot pole that almost killed Nodgrim. But long story short, eventually the mold is disposed of.
Let's get the the weapons out of the cave and see what they are.
Well, let's just see what remains in general.
And
Yeah.
yes, indeed, everyone who
bones.
looks at Minerva now realizes that she doesn't have any eyebrows.
Sorry?
Whoops.
Minerva doesn't have any eyebrows.
Worth it.
Nice
Hey.
to
You know,
I
well, not
still
entirely gone, but you know, they've been singed significantly in places because you've got a face full of fire.
And a heart full of...
Mold.
All right, the bodies that are remained are covered in this black, goopy mess, which is the residual
Burnt up
mold.
Okay. Let's clean that off.
It's clumped around the cave in various really acrid smelling little
Ugh,
puddles.
don't breathe it in.
I'm keeping watch on zombie Mark.
He's been consistently trying to kill people, but not being able to.
Just like when he was alive.
It's the most fun he's ever had.
Uh,
There are indeed 4 bodies here. There are 2 that seem to have worn armor previously. The armor is badly damaged, and not really.
At all heavy-ish?
No. You realise that one of them seems to be an arming coat. So, it's not an arming coat, sorry. A brigandine.
Oh, okay.
okay.
So, with the
Brigandine's
plates
not
on the inside of a quilted jacket.
Yeah.
And the other one looks to have been it might have been like a suit of scale. You're not sure. It's bad. It's
that's
really badly damaged.
Cool. Okay.
And the organic matter that held it all together is gone.
Mm-hmm.
There is an axe in here. It looks to be a hand axe. The wooden handle is badly damaged. The axe head is badly pitted. Looks like it's been rusted considerably. And there are a few other bits and pieces that may have once been a bow or something like that. And you see what looks to be the remnants of a quiver and a bunch of arrows, which look mostly like sticks with arrowheads stuck to them.
Okay. I mean, arrowheads are still useful, I guess.
You also notice that there are some coins scattered about the floor.
The monies.
Yeah, Zell.
1,000 GP per level.
Get collecting.
Also, how much longer were we thinking of going? Rapidly hitting a wall.
Yeah, not too long. I think we can finish up shortly.
Cool.
Shall
But
we-
it's been a very productive session. We literally have done nothing.
If you look back through the gifts, that's clearly not true.
I mean, I guess we didn't die to a thunderstorm, so that's always nice.
Or
Would have been awkward.
yeah, Mould.
that was in a cave.
So how much coinage do we find?
Alright, there are, after you brave the black acrid clumps of still smouldering, bubbling, gooey mould, 82 coppers you'll scrounge up, 31 silvers, 24 electrum,
Ooh.
and 28 gold.
The start.
So I'll just write that down in the party treasure at the moment.
Cool.
So 81 copper, what did you say?
Yep.
Sorry, go through that again.
82 copper?
82 copper, 31 silver,
Yep.
24 electrum, 28 gold, and you also find 7 platinum.
Ooh.
Shiny.
Wow. Okay.
It looks that the dwarves' belt pouches had just, been dissolved by the mould and released their coins.
We might be able to buy Nodgrim some for healing.
But we didn't find a signet ring.
Well, we found the signet
We've
ring
already
on
got
the warlock,
Well,
or
we
the
found
body
a
being
signet
possessed by
ring.
the warlock.
I just want to make sure that there wasn't another one here.
Well, I think we should still take the bones back with us for a proper burial.
Sorry, Grail, for some reason I've forgotten already. Electrum and gold.
So 24 electrum, 28,
Yep.
28 gold,
Yep, and 7.
7 platinum. Yeah.
Yep, got it. Cool.
For much as I have joked about the short-statured dwarf with us, I think it would only be fair to these fallen dwarves to have their remains returned to Sumberton for a proper
Okay.
burial.
You will
Indeed.
notice that on the short sword that Nodgrim pulled out from the mould that almost killed him, and the axe head that remains, there is in fact a stamp on the blade. For the short sword, it is towards the bottom near the crossguard, and for the axe, it is pretty much just near the haft of Durek, the blade master.
Ooh. His weapons, maybe.
Good old Dark.
Well,
Mm.
that's useful to take back as well, I guess.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, he does sell weapons to lots of people in the valley, but yeah, coincidence.
Oh.
It is.
Indeed. And if nothing else, he may recognize it. If
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
his.
Yep, indeed.
Or if it's his son's, I should say.
So, how shall we make our way back? Should we head to the river and then head up, or do you want to just rough it through the? I mean, you guys did travel here from Sumberton, right? You know the way.
True, but we had a guide.
Yeah,
I don't
you
believe
still,
any of
like,
us
paid some attention, right? No?
We did. We had some directions.
Caradwin did. Caradwin's good at making maps.
Give her time, she may have to make a good map around here. But, it just takes time to do that.
Yep.
While Caradwin's typing, I assume she walks over and marks an X on my head and then slaps some paper with idiot.
Mhm.
So in that case, Kieran, are you confident at navigating us back, or would we prefer just to find the river and then follow that?
I will let Caradwin type here for the moment.
Yep,
And
cool. That
say
makes
that
sense.
Caradwin is probably more confident. That's, yeah. She would need time, especially Kirkle Ridge is a it's a mess of a place, and it's notorious for being hard to navigate unless you have years and years of experience within it.
Which was why I was so surprised we encountered Minerva.
Hey, who knows? Maybe there's...
I guess it was a good vision. She got value for money.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Indeed.
maybe she's the hag.
Anyway.
When they get back to where I am, I look over the weapons they've brought back and go, it is Durek's mark.
So possibly, from the clues we've gathered here, possibly most likely. Can we take the remains back, or will that be too much of a burden?
No, you can probably manage to do that. It's going to be maybe a little bit... I mean, they're bones. There is no sinew. There's nothing holding them together anymore. No muscles, no tendons, etc. They're just bones. So it's going to be a bit undignified. You just have to pile them up. They probably all get messed up. The bodies.
I was gonna say, can we try to get them separate somehow?
You can, but you don't really
I have enough sacks to get by.
How many bodies
sacks do
were
you
there?
have? 4. How many sacks do you have?
I have a large one and a small one. Okay, it's better than nothing.
Mark had a whole lot of sacks on the door.
You. I was going to say, do we want to create dwarf bowed armor for the donkeys? I mean, it's just a suggestion.
That sounds like a abhorrently...
We'll do no such thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a terrible idea. If the best thing to do is get 4 separate sacks and try and separate the bones of the dwarves into them each. We can also probably put their belongings in them, so at least we can someone may have a chance of identifying them.
Mark had 4 small sacks, so one small sack alone will not carry the bones of a dwarf.
Or 2 small sacks.
Nodgrim, if you don't mind my asking, people, the head, the shin bone, where do they feel their intellect and soul resides?
The colon?
Not attached to your body, that's for sure. The soul's separate.
If, for instance, something bad were to happen to you, and we only had some small sacks, culturally speaking, what would you most want returned?
Don't we have 4 small sacks?
You are not going to fit the skulls into any of the small sacks. They
Oh,
are too small.
They're small sacks. Small sacks.
Yep. You can fit the skulls in a large sack, but, we can discuss this later if you want. But we can also just say, you can jury rig something somehow.
We will try our best to keep the bones separate, but obviously we are prioritizing just moving out and getting them back.
Sure. We'll
say better to take them all back mixed up.
At one point we have map making equipment, so that implies the technique which we could possibly use to mark a set of bones, so we don't make
one, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
I don't have much. Since I started with nothing, the only thing in my backpack is some trail rations. I'm happy to put some bones in there.
Because nothing goes well with the trail rations, like old dwarf bones.
And as you can see from our reconstruction, the average dwarf had 4 arms and 2 heads.
And was comprised 25% of dried field rations.
We used to think dwarves were covered
They're
in
well wrapped. They'll be
but
fine.
now we believe dwarves to have been covered in feathers.
But we can call it there. We'll say that you can get them back just in an undignified manner.
Yes, unfortunately, we did the best we could.
Yep, that would be fair enough. Alright, we will call it there then.
Thank you, especially to Grell, but to
That was a
all.
very entertaining adventure.
It was almost 2 PCs in 2 weeks. Almost.
He just
So if
couldn't
I hadn't
fail.
rolled 13, I was cactus?
Yep.
Yellow mold is 1 save or death.
Oh.
But because you only got a small dose of it, I was giving you 2 saves.
Ouch.
Eve.
Yeah, yellow
These
mobs are
old school
nasty.
RPGs are really brutal, aren't they?
Yes.
There's a
Like,
reason Grail likes it.
Yes,
And if I had died, I would have had to have been a cleric again, because both the clerics have just gone by the wayside.
Yep.
Nothing says balls out toughness like playing a first edition game with no clerics.
Yeah. We're all rogues.
it also wouldn't get very far.
Yeah, you'd yell, all right. You just
Anyway,
be very,
night,
very
guys.
structured. Good night. See ya.
See ya.
See you later.